and gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, 7 p.m. This is episode number 150, y'all. We appreciate you watching, putting up with us for the previous 149. We'll try to make this one the best. Be sure if you're out there watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or I think we're on LinkedIn this week. Also, like, share, subscribe. Send this to someone that may need some information about what military transition is like, different modalities for therapy, and just overall tribe, getting together and talking a little shit every now and then. That's a lot of fun. We talked some shit last week with Kevin Lombardo about going on some vacations. That's a different modality for therapy that we like to talk about on the show. Kevin was a United States Air Force veteran, still active duty, actually retiring next year. But Valor Vacations, look them up. Boots to Beaches. They do vacations for Gold Star families, widowers, widowies, and all kinds of stuff like that. It's amazing work they're doing. This is Aston Patricia Muse, aka Army of Muse. She was episode number 30. You can check our entire back catalog anywhere you get your podcast. I usually watch them on Spotify. We'll have a live look in here with Jen and her right-hand man, Cody Gill, for the upcoming registration opens tomorrow, the Danny Dietz World Championship Cook-Off. It's no longer called the Danny Dietz Memorial Classic Cook-Off. It is now KCBS World Championship event right here in Texas. So we're looking forward to that coming up in September. They've got a new emblem. We'll talk about that while they change to the World Championship with Jen Lee and Cody Gill tonight. But when we cook at that event, the inaugural event of the Triple Threat Vet Cook Team, we're going to be bringing in Sean Sant, a bunch of veterans, to come out there and see what that barbecue culture does for you. I want to give a shout out to Got Your Six Culture. They do all the gear. I'm not wearing the gear today. Had a function with my grandson. He was in pre-K, so we got to watch him do their little graduation day. It's pretty freaking awesome. Becky Joe Art. Oh, I forgot to say what they do. They do all the apparel normally for us. Same flag, sameoath.com. Matt Johnson, great dude, one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. You can't mention Matt without mentioning Becky Joe Art. She's the true artist in the family. I mean, check some of this stuff out. It's amazing. You see the finished product behind Matt every week, and she's got a new cowboy one. I challenge you to go to Becky Joe Art and check out some of her work. It's freaking awesome. Project Zero got a lot of stuff going on. I want to highlight this though. Some of their surf fishing adventure therapies are full right now. They got some seats in September, but if you check the bottom of this slide, they've got some offshore opportunities coming up, and that's cool as hell. Kyle Shudik and all the group over there at Project Zero, they got a wonderful board that plans great events. I think they got a big event like Kilimanjaro coming up again next year. I don't know what it's going to be, but they got great stuff going on for veterans. This week we got Chris Rivers. Chris Rivers is a Army veteran, enlisted, and went to West Point. He's got some great points he wants to talk about. Civic renewal is a word that rings when he talks about civic renewal. I would want him to wax poetic about that with us. But Out Heroes not here tonight. I don't see him in the green room, so no rant. He's doing stuff with family. But I do see our man Matt Johnson. All right, let's turn it over to Matt Johnson.
So the rant is, Al, tell your kid to plan their school events much better. I don't know why you haven't given them the calendar yet of how you have openings, but I'm starting to think that you're not such a big deal down in the free state of Florida. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. But anyway, hope Kinsey has a good night at school and that parent-teacher conference does not turn into the expel result that you think it's going to. Just kidding. Welcome, everybody. Another Thursday, episode 150. Saying hello to CIA Bob. Saying hello to Beth Harris that are out there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. 150. Man, that means we're committed to something. and we were able to commit to something more than we did in service, right? So we're trying to take this as far as we took that, and that's why tonight we're going to bring you another great story with another great veteran and someone that's doing great things out in the community to help all veterans, get past those hard times in life. Again, as always, if there's somebody out there that you need to talk to, somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time, or somebody that you're just wondering how they're doing, call them, reach out to them, say hi. Can't hurt. And just make sure they're okay, because that's what we got to do, check on each other. But one more time, welcome everybody. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you tuning in like you do every week. Subscribe on YouTube. That's going to tell you that we're live again. And then when you see that we're live again, then what you should be doing is texting that to all your friends so that they can watch as well. And then obviously we load these up right after the shows are done the same week onto anywhere that you get your podcasts, whatever your favorite is. That's where we're at. I think with that, man, I don't have much else. I mean, I tried to rant, but my rant is fix your schedule, bruh. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was hoping that Al could have been here because, whenever you call that friend, whenever you reach out to that person you're not reached out to in a while, sometimes it's good to, reach out and show them a video. I was wondering if you've seen that video of the Lieutenant Colonel complaining and
yes, let's watch that video, because if we want to rant about something, we can rant about this. Oh, show.
Yeah, this was crazy to me.
Hey, listen, man. Don't put your goddamn hands on me. Get off the goddamn road.
Sir, we're running an AFT.
That's right, but hey, you're running an AFT, you're impeding the way. All right?
It's a lot. Okay.
That's like a goddamn private. I told you to get off the fucking road. You're looking at me like I'm
What are
crazy.
you doing right now? Talk the whole thing unprofessional, okay?
Yeah, I'm unprofessional, sure. Unprofessional.
Yeah, shout
that's
out
just
to US
what
Army.
happens when there's that's what happens when there's no wars to go to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm like,
wars.
I'm asking myself when I'm seeing this, and there's AI has been crazy with that. They've got him pouting in the middle of the street, which is crazy. Like I hate that. But was it a authorized, as a senior NCO, I look at it like this. Was it an authorized PT route? Why the hell was he a part of the test? She was obviously the NCO. What was the beginning part? What initiated that?
Well, obviously you didn't see that, right?
Everyone stands right in the middle of the road, at least the person with the clipboard. So I don't understand how that's changed since I got out.
Yeah, but here's the other part of this. If you take a look at the whole scene and what all is going on, he's the only one not with and I would assume, I'm going to assume this because every other soldier that wasn't in uniform was all in the same PT uniform. They all had the same shirt on. They all had the same black shorts on. He's the only dipshit walking around with a unit t-shirt on trying to talk to shit to people. So he was probably running down the road on his morning PT and they just got in his way. So he was entitled, maybe. But you're right. You didn't see the beginning of it. But at the same time, if you show up and everybody looks the same and they look like they should be there, especially on a military installation, there's a reason they're freaking there, dude. Like, honestly. And for a lieutenant colonel to tell the young lady, like, I'm acting like a private, you're acting like a private. Somebody needs to send his ass back to whatever officer candidate school he went to learn what the word professionalism means and esprit de corps. Like, you don't treat people like that in public, man. Like, that's just asinine, dude. Like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure there's another side to the story, another truth to be told there. But the part that really gets me in the video, when he puts his hand up like this and he tells I assume is another NCO that's with the Sergeant First Class doing the test, he said, "Don't put your goddamn hands on me." Like, you could tell you could hear it in his voice and his body language. That adrenaline had gone. He had spiked. He was ready to do something about it. And I just wonder what made him get so fucking angry to get to the adrenal spike that people that, know how to do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but people that know how to do that stuff, that dude was ready to go.
But also, everybody, let's just take it right here. That shit might be fake as hell too.
Oh, you mean the original? Yeah,
all of it might be fake.
Yeah. Well,
even if that's a real video, let's just set this up to look like crazy as hell and put it on the internet and see how it goes. You know what I mean? When soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and what do they call them, guardians now, when they fucking get bored, dude,
Space Force.
You know what I mean? They do like, look, what can we do right now? You know what I mean? It's just crazy. crazy.
Yeah, and then
It looked
if
like an
there's a
official
racial
PT
component
function.
attached to him calling her Geronimo, I don't know if there's a lot of Geronimo call signs and stuff. If there's a racial slur thrown in there at the end just because she happened to be Native American or something, that's fucking terrible too. But I didn't want to go. That's crazy. I didn't see that part. When I hear somebody, say Geronimo or anything, I think of Fort Polk, because the team that's the bad guys are called Geronimo.
Oh, wow. CIA Bob said that video was 100% real. They got it at the Pentagon right now. I hope Pete Hegseth comes out and runs the PT with him the next time. So the guy's talking shit, he can just stop and be like, excuse me, and then see what that guy says. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's crazy. I wish. What's up, Pit Slap Barbecue? I see you, brother. How you doing? That's he's got his shows older than the So Smoking Gooder show. He's been around longer than we have. Yeah,
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to show you, Ty, when you get really bored, you say dumb shit, and then you become internet famous, because in today's military, that's what it's all about, being internet famous. And the reason that went down the way it did is because people were recording it, because I'm pretty sure there was some NCOs out there like, you better be glad motherfuckers got cell phones, because otherwise, back in the day when there was no cell phones, there wouldn't have been no talking going on, if that would have been right, and you're interrupting those things, man. But like, if you're an officer, like, act like it, dude. Act like it.
Yeah. I put a post out earlier in the week. This dude is, if all this is true, as the youngins say, this lieutenant colonel's cooked.
Oh yeah, he's cooked.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. He might get promoted. You never know.
Yeah. You're impeding the way. I don't know.
Impeding the way of what? There was no cars, dude.
It's a PT route, dude. I don't understand. I'm not going to understand that till I hear the whole story.
But also, this is why I say I don't like that whole video thing. Like, it could be fake. Like, look at the angle that camera is at the whole time. Was this dude just done with the PT test, laying on the ground like, fuck, I'm tired, let me record it?
The fifth Don of the Specialist Mafia holding that down, making sure he backs it all up. That's the Don of the E4 Mafia right there.
Yeah.
Recording that.
I got this. We're going to put it everywhere so everybody can see.
Good Lord. I don't even want to address that one. That's a good one, Bob. Actually.
Well, since we got through that, I'd be interested to see what our guest thinks about the whole shenanigans that went on in that video too. So why don't you introduce him and we can just jump into what does he think about that?
Yeah, so Christopher Rivers, a former U.S. Army officer and combat veteran who enlisted at 17 and served in Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He's a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. He holds a bachelor's degree in freaking physics. As if Al would hear, he'd be like nerd is all he's yelling out. See, I'm used to being around.
That's because Al can't spell physics and he has no idea what it means. That's why the dude would be in
physics.
Yeah, I'm strong as hell. Physics.
But I'm used to being around intelligent people. I'm around Matt Johnson all the time. My brother's a theoretical physicist. My brother-in-law is a theoretical physicist, and Al Hero is a mental giant. So I'm used to being around genius people. So we're gonna have a little wax poetic about nuclear engineering. I'm totally joking, sir. I can't wax poetic with you about nuclear engineering, but I am really interested to hear his public policy, foreign service, Georgetown University. So following his military service, Rivers worked as a policy advisor and problem solver at the United States Department of State. I mean, that's cool as hell. Your resume says you're a problem solver at the U.S. State Department. That's cool as hell. I want to hear about that. Helping organizations navigate complex operational and strategic challenges. His career spans national security, diplomacy, corporate problem solving, and candidacy for statewide political office, giving him a unique perspective on how power is exercised across institutions. And then he is the author of the book, You Shouldn't Have to Kill to Get Ahead. Pretty cool.
Says every aspiring NCO and officer in the military.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an interesting story. I mean, other than just the points he has, like he's again, like I've talked about this on the show a lot of times, or maybe we talked about it on another show. A lot of times the people that came through and enlisted and then go to the academy, it's they have a different set of knowledge than people that don't. So really interested to hear about that too.
Yeah,
so without further ado, let's bring on Chris Rivers.
Hey, thanks for having me. What an interesting video to start with.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we like to shake things up. I was.
Well, we had to shake it up like that, Chris, because the nuclear option's not here today. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. You know what's interesting about that video? No one's wearing a reflective belt. Kind of feel like if people were wearing the old reflective belts that kept you safe from everything, none of that would have happened. Just throwing it out there. I don't know why we wore them, but hey, they weren't there.
I totally agree with that. That's some wisdom right there.
So everybody was out of uniform then.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. That's crazy. So if you were there in that situation though, Chris, like how would that have gone down for you? Like you see all that craziness, like what's the first thing you say to the officer on the scene when you see him acting like whatever verb you want to throw in there?
Yeah. So my technique to this would have been, and I was a junior officer. I got out as a captain. So if I would have been a captain or lieutenant, seeing that all go down, just walk up to the guy and just start peppering him with questions. Officers love questions, and start asking them questions about Army regulations and whatever BS. That way the NCOs could do the job they're doing, running the PT test. That's what my approach would have been.
What regulation are you talking about? Well, that would be
make up whatever you want. Yeah. This is
so
one of the, when I was an officer, one of the pieces of advice I got from a Fulbright colonel was basically no one reads regulations, no one reads doctrine, but the officers love to argue over it. So if you just like read a little bit while you're like going to the bathroom every day, you will know more than 99% of other people around you, and then use it for your own benefit.
No doubt.
That's
Absolutely.
a good way to put it, actually. Okay. That's probably how they push a lot of laws through our government too, because not everybody reads the bill. You just got to know enough to get through.
That's definitely true. Hardly anyone knows the process anymore too.
Yeah.
And that's just true across the board. We have done a terrible job of teaching civics across our country.
Yep. Common Core math is good though, bro. It's so good. Like, dude, if you can't do Common Core math, then I'm right there with you because I can't do it either.
I can't do it.
It's really good to use a textbook that gives you the example and shows you how to do it. And then my son would go, that's not how the teacher told us to do it. I'm like, then why in the hell did they give you this book? And why are our tax money paying for a book they're supposed to teach you from? The teacher's like, fuck that book. Do it like this. And my son just went, no, this is the way they told us to do it. And I was like, all right, good enough. Don't worry, y'all. He's going to be an architect. We're safe.
He's going to be an architect in an age of AI, though. So,
very true.
How important are math skills anymore as a physicist and
engineer?
I feel like they're important.
The disclaimer says AI can make mistakes, dude.
Yeah, it can.
So can engineers. Need to trust and verify. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And that's actually like the really good point. Before I did my current job as an AI strategist, if you treat AI like a brand new employee, you'll be just fine. Like you have to, it could do a lot. It'll produce a lot of stuff really quickly, but like, you got to check everything it says.
Oh yeah. It's like your 3-year-old that doesn't think before it talks, you know, and then I constantly have to go back and go, no, what you just did is what you wanted to do. And it is nothing like I said. And I love when AI goes, oh my God, you are so right. I apologize for getting that wrong. Let me redo this the way that you wanted it. And I'm thinking, well, Jesus, I didn't even give you the prompt this time. I just said you was wrong. And then you gave me what I wanted. Okay. Makes sense. You know, OFP AI, you know, OFP. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad that I was able to connect with you through the way that we were able to connect, because I found it very, very interesting. I always find it interesting when we meet veterans that have written books and done a multitude of different things. And so everything that you had in your book and everything that's in there through the bio that I read was super interesting. And we just appreciate you coming on. What we like to do with every guest that we do bring on is like, let everybody get to know you first. And what we like to do is just start off simply with this, like, where are you from? Meaning, where did you grow up? What was it like for you growing up? What kind of things were you into? So where are you from?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in this little town called Naugatuck, Connecticut. And what Naugatuck had going for it was that we weren't the town next door, basically. You hear Connecticut, you think rich. We were genuinely a forgotten factory town. That town probably has more in common with West Virginia than most other parts of Connecticut. The town made most of the tires for World War II, and then the factory went out of business. So to put this like a visual here, the War of the Worlds movie, the new one with Tom Cruise, or the relatively new one, the scene where the alien gets out in a supposedly bombed out Boston, that's my hometown. And the kind of environment I grew up in was lower middle class. My dad was a mechanic, loved working with his hands, and we kind of had a family structure that was just barely getting by economically speaking. My dad is someone who old school brought his paycheck to the bank and then took out however much cash he had, and that's how much money the entire family had for the week. And if we ran out, we were just out. You skipped a couple meals, you did whatever you had to do. So if anyone ever had a flat tire, or had to go to the hospital or any of that, like, it impacted everyone else. And I think
a lot of dirt rubbing, dude. Rub some dirt on it till next week.
100%. I mean, I still have cracks in my skull from just hey, like, you got too close to someone swinging a bat, got hit in the head, and you just had to like deal with it.
Your parents used to go, I bet you won't do that again. You're like, no,
yeah,
I won't.
100%.
After you go, I forgot my name. They're like, yeah, you know your name. Stop being stupid. You'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. What is it again?
Yeah. Or we were roughhousing one day, and like my brother pillow fight, and like he sent me flying. My brother's 5 years older than me, older brother, older sister, sent me flying. My head got cut open on like the corner of a wall, blood spray all over the wall. Parents come home. What happened here? I don't know.
Yeah, they're like,
I know.
You mean none of you knew how this got here? It was there when we got home, Mom. I don't even know. Maybe it was like a big mosquito or something.
Yeah, as there's like dried blood in my hair. I don't know how this happens.
Yeah.
That's what it was back in the day before we all had smartphones, right?
Yep. Well, I mean, if y'all had a smartphone, you guys would have like stitched it up, put some gauze on it, did the whole nine, and been like, no, we don't need to go to the doctor. We're good. We WebMD'd the shit out of this one, Mom. We're good.
Yeah, we would have gotten 1 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So for you growing up there, any cool stories about like running around? Was there a lot of abandoned buildings there because of the factories that closed down, or was everything open? You got any cool stories about crazy stuff you guys did in scary buildings?
Nothing in scary buildings. We actually, where I was, my little neck of the woods was kind of on the outskirts of town. So we just always spent our entire day. So literally over the summer, my mom would lock the door at 9 a.m. and we had to be outside before that. She wouldn't open it up until 5 p.m. And behind our house was this sort of abandoned railroad from it was a path in the Revolutionary War. It was a railroad in the Civil War. It's called the Bridle Trail. If people want to look it up, but there was like a battle for the Revolutionary War fought there. And so there's all these caves and stuff. And we would just like go hang out there. We just spent all of our time outside. The other side of the street was a whole bunch of cows. So you try to go like tip them over, or try run through the field and like not step in their cow patties and stuff like that. Like that was a childhood I had, which was freaking awesome. And I kind of miss it.
Did you guys find anything interesting in those caves you would go through? Like, especially knowing that it was Revolutionary War, Civil War, was there just stuff in there that you could find that you're like, I wonder what this is?
Yeah, you could find like an old, like the old bullets. Like the rest of it, the cartridge and stuff would have had gone away by then. But like you could find those little things all over the place.
Wow. What were you guys thinking when you find that stuff? You're like, there's a lot of bullets in here. Like, can you imagine what happened in this?
Yeah, there weren't a ton, but it's also like everyone knew about it. So like the old people would walk by and someone would be like, I'm part of the historical society. Like you shouldn't be playing in there. And it's just like, but it was also
like a whole trash dump in here, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like why hasn't anyone cleared it out yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it's just like fun to play around with that sort of history. Like of Connecticut's part of the Revolutionary War. Like, yeah, battles were fought in Boston and New York. The armies came through Connecticut at some point. Right. And it's just cool. We always think about the Civil War history down south with Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and down in Georgia. But like the Revolutionary War history up here is, from a history nerd, it's just pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. I love going to the Northeast to see stuff like that. I like going into like Boston, and even when we were where I'd worked previously, we would go to Connecticut over Groton and stuff all the time. Yeah. Newport, Rhode Island, just to see all those areas up there. You can tell stuff up there is really old, but there's so many places where you can read history about different things and what happened here. You know what I mean? Whereas like when I'm, Ty and I live in Texas, we drive the roads in Texas, man. Every once in a while you see a historical sign and it's like historical marker this way. And you're like looking like, man, I don't even see it. like, where's the marker? But like, you just don't know. Whereas in those places, walking the city, you're like, boom, this happened here and this happened there.
Yeah.
They have a lot of that where my wife's from in New Orleans too. You see a lot of history on the buildings. I like seeing like stuff like that because it just interests me to know where you came from and kind of like what happened there, right?
Oh, for sure. I love it so much. And it's so well documented here. Like, you know exactly what house and who stayed at what house. Like George Washington headquarters were set up here for 24 hours is a very normal thing over here.
Oh, wow. So growing up, did you play sports? Did you do extracurriculars? What kind of things were you into your middle school, high school days, things like that?
Yeah. So I grew up in a family where we all played baseball. We didn't really have a choice. My dad played it growing up. We all played it. My brother, 5 years older than me, was like a really, really good left-handed pitcher. And he needed someone to throw to. So I became a catcher. And I played all the way up through sort of junior college level. In my town, you either had to pick baseball or soccer. You couldn't do both. And then in high school, I also swam competitively. So loved playing sports, but really more than anything, I was a quiet kid. My brother was the loud guy. He's still an extrovert to this day. My older sister, way more popular than I ever was. I was kind of like the nerdy outcast because when I was in elementary school, I was diagnosed with learning disabilities and I was put in special ed. And so I always had like just one or two classmates the entire time. And I just learned to love to be by myself. I love to be outside by myself. To this day, like I need to start every day with a long hike in the woods, which is me and my dog, before I have to sort of deal with other people and the problems of the day. But and that growing up in the sort of outskirts of the town of Naugatuck allowed me to do that for a very long time. And I think it's one of the things I just learned very early on. That I just like need that space to myself to rejuvenate. Don't really get it in the Army all that much.
Right. That is very true. We're going to come back to that. I have a question for you on that end. But
Sure.
Before we get to that question, so growing up, learning disabilities in schools, special classes, at what point or what time with all of that, time alone, all of that, how did the military jump into your stratosphere growing up? I mean, other than we know Revolutionary War, Civil War, there's a lot of history in America there, but like what about like the military you serving? How did that come up for you?
So let me start by saying no one in my family, direct family, had served. So it was a foreign concept to go join the military. But then there was these little drips that happened for all throughout my childhood. So my dad and I would go hunting. We would do it in part for sport, but also in part to have meat for the wintertime. It wasn't really a pure leisure thing. It was actually just how we got cheap meat. And so I like being outside, I like hunting. Fast forward, it's the only one in my family to join Boy Scouts, earned Eagle Scout. Love camping, love being outside. And then 9/11 happened. And the World Trade Centers, when they went down, I was, a freshman in high school. But the part of Connecticut I grew up in was sort of hour and 45 minutes away from New York City. So far enough away where most families were not directly impacted, but close enough where I was able to see the smoldering of the towers before they like were truly put out. Close enough where a lot of families were indirectly impacted. And I just remember having that day seared into my memory, being in school, watching the second plane hit. And then it wasn't so long after that, I was working at Boy Scout camp, teaching rifle and shotgun merit badge. My boss was a former Navy SEAL from Vietnam era, and then ran into a recruiter. I was really overweight at that time. I was like 5 foot something, 250 pounds, couldn't even run a mile. And this National Guard recruiter just said, "Are you interested in serving? Because don't let that stop you." And then she's literally the one that taught me how to go run, how to diet for the first time in my life. And I lost 65 pounds in 3 months and enlisted in the National Guard.
Nice. So what was it like working with a boss that was from the Vietnam era and a Navy SEAL? Like how many crazy stories did you hear there, or did he not tell any at all?
He didn't tell any at camp. When he would tell the stories, because he lived closer to there than I did, and we would have to go get stuff from his house to resupply the camp stuff, he would just start sharing these random stories about how to use machetes, not just to clear vegetation, but to like actually fight with them. And then we would just go around his house. I met his wife. She was a Marine Corps officer, and they met while he was on R&R in Japan. And he just walked me through room to room and showed me every firearm he had and why he had it there. And I grew up hunting bow and arrow. Like my family didn't really shoot much of firearms other than at Boy Scout camp and stuff. And so he just like walked through the entire defense plan for his home. First time, only time anyone has truly walked me through that.
So what was going through your head and walking through, like, I have this gun here and it's for this and this gun here for that? Are you like, I need to get out of here like right now? Like, I don't even want to be here right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, that's definitely real. And it was very much like, what are we doing right now? Why are we talking about this? But also, I guess it's one of the safest places to be.
Yeah. If some stuff goes down, I'll be here stat. We'll be hanging out.
100%.
For sure. Yeah. So going into joining the National Guard, pretty smooth, easy process. What did you or was it a smooth process? And what did you choose to do? What was your MOS? What did you sign up for?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a complicated story. The relatively smooth process, I did split option training. So what that means for everyone listening is I chose to enlist when I was 17 years old. I did basic training between my junior and senior year of high school. And then I went out and did my advanced individual training after I graduated from high school. And at that point, I enlisted in 2003. And at that point, National Guard units were not being called up for either Iraq or Afghanistan yet. Iraq had just kicked off a couple months before. And so I thought my plan was to go to UConn and have the National Guard pay for it. And so it didn't really matter at first what the MOS was. And so I picked the one that had the unit closest to my family. And so I originally enlisted as a 42 Alpha human resource specialist, like S1 person. But my civilian job was as an EMT. And when I was a senior in high school, after having done basic training, my National Guard unit, the Human Resource National Guard unit, is the one from Connecticut that got called up. And I ended up deploying as soon as I got done with my AIT. And then we can get to that in a second. But as much as I was deployed with a human resource detachment, I was actually doing most of my work as a medic because we were critically short of medics at the time. And that was my civilian job.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one of those things where, like, National Guard, huh? I remember when reservists would come in to drill weekends, like, we would always ask them like what their civilian trade or career was, because if it matched, like, because I was a CB, so I remember, dude, there was a couple times we had a couple guys drill with us overseas. We were doing a big barracks rehab project. We had 2 guys that were laying tile for the Indiana Pacers new arena with us on deployment for like 3 weeks. Dude, we got so far ahead on that project because those dudes were just slinging it, you know. But it was cool because they could teach you, like, this is how you do this. This is the way to do that. And I know they tell you this. And so it was very interesting back then to see that there's like a huge, you know, key component cog to that wheel when you bring the reserves or National Guard in, because they have a whole other world that they lived in, like you, like being an EMT, you know, absolutely one of the most critical things you could do over there. But I thought it was so cool to see them come in and just like flourish, like they were being teachers and teaching things. You know, you've got a BU3 teaching a BU senior chief how to do something. And I was like, what is going on here, right? But then kind of find out the guy's been a master tilesmith or whatever it was called for 15 years. You know, like, that's what he does. And you're like, oh, he's an expert. We're just a jack of all trades. Got it. You know, it's like,
that's exactly right. Yeah. And I think having been both National Guard side and active duty side and enlisted side and officer side, it's amazing how much like the active duty chip on the shoulder, like, hey, we know what we're doing. And, you know, if you're clearing rooms, yeah, you probably do know it better. But if you're just trying to like do operations, the National Guard and the reserve units generally have a shit ton to bring to the table. Yeah,
they're definitely, I think, I don't know if you would agree. I don't know if you agree, Ty, like at a slower pace when it comes to looking at things and how to do it, right? Like, absolutely, this stuff is critical and it's important. However, they don't need to be like me and just decide and go. And then just when the brick wall gets there, you're like, oh shit, I thought you guys would have had it moved already. And now it's like, we've got to figure it out. And then frustration sets in because it's not happening fast enough. And then you got the guys in the back like, I just told you guys to wait like 5 minutes. So we could have just like, you know, we could have thought it out. We could have got there. So I think that pace, because they're not, it's not a hit. They're just not in a hurry all the time for anything. So they think through things, I think, a little bit better.
I think the type of officer I got used to was one that was, a history buff, all into that kind of things. But what was your favorite trait that you wanted to implement once you knew you were going to become an officer? I know I kind of jumped, but I heard you say something a second ago.
Yeah, for me, and that's actually a perfect segue because it was when I was deployed to OIF 3 and my unit was in part Kuwait, part southern Iraq, made it all the way up to Fallujah. It was back in the day where like my personnel service detachment commander, I did not look up to at all. But I was attached out to all these line units. So I had young lieutenants who were just thinking that they had an extra medic in their mess. And I was, as a young soldier does, young E3, E4 type, just complaining about leadership. And they said, well, why don't you go do something about it? I was just like, as a young enlisted guy, I was like, what can I do? I just have to load this connex and like do this. And I don't really have a whole bunch of say in it. And that's when they challenged me. They're like, you're smart enough, go to college. I was like, how do I do that? Like just not knowing because no one in my family had gone to college. And they arranged for me to go fly down to Camp Doha, Kuwait to retake my SATs to apply for West Point. And that's how I actually got in. And so my journey into trying to become an officer was all solely based on trying to be a better leader than what I was experiencing as an enlisted soldier. That's all it was.
Excellent. I like it.
And so when you did that switch, were you already on the active side or still in the National Guard side? Like I heard you say you were enlisted guard and active and then enlisted an officer. So did you already make the switch to active duty at that point or still in the Guard?
I was in the Guard, but on a deployment when I made the switch.
Activated.
Yeah, I was activated.
Gotcha. So the one question I did have for you, going back just a little bit before we get to West Point, because I think I have the same type question there because, being what you just said, being someone who liked to be alone all the time, someone that was like, I'm good if I take these walks by myself. I don't need to be in all this craziness. What was the transition for you like going into the Army and being in boot camp with 100 other guys? Everybody's going to work together. You have no choice but to be around them every day, and you don't get any free time. Like, how was that for you being what worked for you being in all the times you're like, I'm good just being solo? How was the transition for you?
The weird part I learned at basic training more than anything else was you can physically be around other people and be totally mentally checked out. It doesn't matter if they're yelling at you if you're mentally checked out, as long as you can respond. It doesn't really. My favorite days at basic training were range days where we had a ruck march out to the range and you start at like 3:00 in the morning in the heat down south and you're 5 meters in between everyone at minimum. That was like my favorite time in all of training. You couldn't talk even if you wanted to. And everything being tactical, just not talking to each other. Like that's how I sort of learned that no matter where you are physically, you can find some space to have yourself have some personal space mentally. And so as long as you learn that, like basic training for me was actually in a weird way enjoyable because I had to learn it. Because when you're standing, heel to toe in chow line, if you're like getting overwhelmed by how many people around you, you're not going to do too well. So you're just kind of forced to deal with it. And learning those mental tricks to say like, I need some personal time of, pulling security, favorite thing to do in the world, basic training, ruck marches, favorite thing to do in the world.
Oh, there you go. You see, I didn't even think about that. Like you marching everywhere, you got to be quiet, don't talk. That's why it was hard for me, man. I like to talk to people. So me in boot camp, I had a push-up partner because we both couldn't shut the F up. So anytime he had to do push-ups, I had to do push-ups and vice versa. And I learned I can be taught. So they say. I learned like really quick in, like just shut up, don't say nothing. It's like 6 more weeks, we'll be good to go. But my push-up partner, man, that dude, I don't know, man. He had a loose wire. So every time they'd yell my name, I'm like, fuck, like he did it again. And so then, you're getting that extra attention. But I never thought about that. Like I was thinking that you were going to tell me like it was super difficult, but I mean, it makes sense. Obviously I didn't go to Army basic training, but having to march and you can't say a word. Oh yeah, that'd have been the best time for you. You're like, I don't want to talk to none of you people anyway. So This is good to go for me. That's awesome. So then now the second point to that is you take the test, you get into West Point to go to college.
Yep.
Walk us through being the E3 that's like leadership sucks, this needs to be better, them telling you to go do something about it, and you step on campus at West Point. What's that like?
Two things. And I got up to E4 by the time I got to West Point, and getting on campus the first day there. So all the academies, whether it's West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, all of them start with their own form of basic training. And all these high school kids who go straight from high school to West Point, by the way, my wife is one of those. Most of them are so high achievers that they've never been yelled at before. And for some, it's a real wake-up call when someone's in your face screaming at you for the first time in your life, effectively. For me, it felt really comfortable to say, like, oh crap, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it here because of how rigorous of an academic institution it is. And Naugatuck, as much as I, by the way, love my town, the people in it are amazing, as much as I was talking about how run down it is, the school system was not all that great back in the day. And so to go from there to West Point and thinking I'm going to make it was terrifying in an academic sense. But because I got a head start in the basic training side of it, knew how to make a bed, knew how to wear the uniform, knew the basic military stuff that all the high school kids had to learn from scratch, shining boots, all that stuff just was second nature to me. And so getting to adjust into it, redoing basic training, knowing all the head games that they're going to play anyways, and quite frankly, the upperclassman who's running it doesn't know it as well as you do if you went through it as an enlisted soldier, and also having deployed and knowing what's real and what's not. I made a joke earlier about the reflective belts. It's just some of this stuff. It's just games you got to play, and you just have to enjoy playing it for a while. And as long as you realize that for the training part of it, for basic training specifically, you're going to do all right. And so getting into West Point initially, basic training, loved it, felt great. First day of classes, I walk into my very first class, it's a math class, and like one of my West Point classmates, who's a good guy, by the way, literally had his sort of glasses down on the edge of his nose, was reprogramming the government computer that was issued to us. It was like, I don't like these security settings. I can't do enough with it. I can't talk to you. And I was just like, oh crap, I'm in over my head. What am I doing here? I am not going to make it because I have no idea what he even just said to me.
But what class was this again?
That was like advanced math as a freshman.
Oh, advanced math. But he was, oh, okay. Yeah, I probably would have been like, can I give you my computer after and just make sure it can do what you said yours needs to do? That's all I needed to do, because obviously you're going to cheat on these tests and I need to know how to do that too. That's the approach I would have taken to that, right? What was it like for you watching all these high school kids come in that overachievers, never been yelled at? Now they're getting yelled at to like hurry up and they're freaking out. Like, did they ever come up to you after and be like, why aren't you so mad? Was there ever moments where they would come up and you'd just be like, you guys need to calm down, or give you an opportunity to kind of walk them through it? I probably would have been horrible, because I'd have been like, oh my God, dude, for real? That's going to make you cry? I'd have been the guy that was in the movies like pestering at them. But what was it? I mean, how was the transition? Because I know when you get into the class there, you start to form into those different areas in the class, especially when it's coming to whatever, sector or whatever you're going to. Did you ever get to talk to them about that and help them calm down on it? Or was it just like they'll figure it out?
A little bit of both, depending on who it was. I mean, every class we entered with about 1,300 cadets, as my class would graduate with about 1,000. But generally speaking, there was plenty of opportunities to talk to them during basic training, quietly on the side, during meals, whatever. And I was told right from the get-go, and the good advice I got was, hey, you're enlisted. You know how this basic training game is played. You're going to need help in the academic year. Help your classmates now, and they will help you out in the academic year. And the sort of unofficial motto at West Point is cooperate to graduate, because that place will expose whatever weakness you have, because no one's good at everything, and they're going to make you do everything, and they're going to grade it all. So I took that to heart. And during basic training, anyone needed help making the bed, anyone needed help with the sort of mental tricks of zoning out while you're getting yelled at, or just accepting that you're going to get yelled at and not taking it personally, all that stuff, I went out of my way to help people with if they needed it, in the hopes that they would pay it back if I ever needed academic help as well. But also, you kind of look at these kids who are all super high achieving, and they're, hometown hero, West Point Zero. It's another phrase out there, and it's so true. And it's interesting to see how people adapt to new environments, and having not just enlisted, but enlisted and then gone to Kuwait and Iraq and just been in a totally different environment. I think we sometimes take for granted, those of us who've done that journey, how hard it is to make that first leap out of home into something else. And so I just looked at a lot of these folks who were genuinely probably more intelligent and talented than I was, having a real hard time coping, and just kind of feeling bad for them. So a couple pro tips, happy to offer it.
So do you think that in those instances, it's a whole bunch of high achievers? Like I caught the phrase hometown hero, West Point zero. That just means you're another number, right? Do you think that all these high achieving people get to a place and see a whole bunch of them and they're like, oh shit, I'm not the best, right? There is somebody better than me. I'm sure seeing them realize they're not the top guy, like, deflates 100%, right? I'm sure there was a lot of like pep talks that'd be like, dude, you are smart. Just because that dude just put like secret stuff on a government computer, that's cool, but he just did it on a computer, right? But I would imagine, just that, like I said, you have all these high achieving people that come together, and then now they all realize now everybody's normal, right? There's nobody you're excelling over, you know what I mean? And that's that's a kick in the gut, right? It's like you go into boot camp as an E1 and now you're with these guys that can do 800 push-ups. You're like, oh, I'm fucked, right? I would imagine it's the same way, right? But they got you through because you did graduate, dude.
I did graduate, and it's interesting. West Point has this way of really leveling the playing field. They have so many freaking resources in a good way to give you the help you need, whether it's the instructors and officers or the coaches and whatnot. So they have really high standards, but they give you every resource you need. And I think for a lot of my classmates who came in from much more affluent school districts than I came from, who were used to winning the game because they had more resources. And, hey, I was an Eagle Scout, but so was pretty much everyone else there. Hey, I made pretty good grades in high school, but so did everyone else. Hey, I did all these extracurricular leadership stuff. So did everyone else. Being a combat vet, there is probably about 100 other combat vets there. So that even wasn't all that unique by then. And so at the end of the day, like, you get there and you look at the competition aspect of it, because, by the way, that determines what branch you go and where you get posted after West Point. But you also look around at everyone else and just say, like, I guess we're going to have to really prove ourselves. Like, everything we did before doesn't matter. We're all wearing the same uniform. It's all level playing field. Everything you do now matters, and there's no gaming it. You could be the son or daughter of a 4-star general. Doesn't matter. Still getting the same grade.
It's probably worse if you're the son or daughter of a 4-star general going to that joint.
For some, yeah.
Like, really? All right, so important question for your time at West Point. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Army-Navy game. What was your record during your time at West Point?
We lost everyone.
Hell yeah, you did. Not that I'm happy about it, but, sorry.
Let me throw that back at you, though, because I was not on the football team. So as much as I would have liked to have won one, we didn't. I was on the skydiving team, and I won a national championship. So we did all right.
There you go. So tell me, what Army was it like?
National championships for their parachute team, don't they?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's standard.
You guys do that really good. You teach the school. You should.
Appreciate your support, sir.
Thank
you. Show these fucking Navy boys where they belong sometimes.
That was fucked up. Anyway, my question would have been, too, you said you played football while you were at West Point. What was it like to play in that game?
No, sorry, I did not play football. I was on
football. You jumped.
Game.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jumped into the stadium.
You played football. I was like, man, I've always wanted to, like, what's it like,
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what it's like to go there as a spectator. As much as there's a lot of camaraderie for the game, it's also generally the week of our finals. So everyone as a student is stressed out. And then you're wearing these uniforms that were literally designed in the 1800s and were not updated. And the game's usually freaking cold. And so you go there, you're freezing. If your team's doing well, it feels great. You don't worry about it. If your team's not doing well, it gets to be a really long game really quickly. And you have to form up, as everyone in the military does, hours before you actually have to march onto the field to make sure, by the time, hey, march on is at whatever time it is, I forgot. By the time you back up 30 minutes for the actual planning, then everyone backs up 15 minutes off of that. You're literally forming up 4 or 5 hours ahead of time, just standing in a parking lot in these clothes designed for the 1800s.
Oh, man. Good old planners, right? Like, if we plan to fail, or if we fail to plan, we're going to plan to fail. And they're like, everybody be here 5 hours early. Meanwhile, all the other people that are telling you to be there 5 hours early are inside the building. They're drinking coffee. It's all good.
Yeah. It is way more fun to go as a grad who's graduated wearing warm clothes and able to drink.
Oh, I would I would 100% agree. Like my son and I went to the 20th anniversary game at MetLife, Army Navy game. Dude, that was like nothing ever. Watching all of the cadets and the West Pointers run in, watching them, run with flags in there and their uniforms and the whole experience, dude, it was so awesome. We need to go back. 100%.
It is one of the coolest sporting events that you can go to, because not only do you have the game, but you have the skydivers beforehand, you have all the flyovers, you have all the cool stuff set up around the stadium. It's genuinely a cool environment.
Oh yeah, I mean
the Army and Air Force game last year, and I know it's not Army Navy, but just the reverence I had for both academies. My father-in-law went to the Air Force Academy. I'm there with my son, so he's getting to see where his grandfather went to college, and then we're a military family, of course. There's a reverence held with those games, but is that something y'all talk about? What your record was with the Army Navy game? Is that something that people talk about?
Well, I don't bring it up ever. I mean,
all the
I'm
midshipmen.
competitive as hell, so I harken everything back to sports. But there's something to be said about. You talked about everybody at West Point, hometown hero, West Point Zero. It's the same with college sports.
Yeah.
But
I would, Chris, I would venture to say we all know the reason that you don't talk about the Army Navy game.
Yeah, I mean, the record is definitely part of it, but everyone at West Point, and this is true, I think, of all the other academies, has to play a sport. So whether you're intramural, club sport, NCAA sport, like everyone, like, yeah, there's football and we go to the games, but like everyone also has their own athletic stuff going on. We win national championships every year. It just depends on what sport you're talking about. So,
yeah. No, but the football is the one everybody knows about. But I'll tell you, when we went to that one, my son, when we're at the Army Navy game, was just like, I see all these dudes wearing Army shirts and all these people wearing Navy shirts, and everybody's, who they're going for, but nobody's talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
Right. It's all, and that was the thing I told him, was like, dude, all these guys on the field today, they don't give a shit about football, dude. They don't. I mean, they're playing because for their service academy, but they're going on to do more. Like it's America's game, but there's more at stake than just the football game. And that's what all the fans in here see. And it made me, I don't know, it was cool for him to be like, this is not like going to a Saints game or going to a, an A&M game or something like that, where everybody's, this is my team, or, we've talked to New York cops talking about Mets and Yankees fans fighting in the stands. There's none of that there. It's very supportive all the way around. It's awesome.
It is so freaking cool. And growing up in Connecticut, being on the border of Red Sox and Yankee Nation, like I grew up thinking Red Sox Yankee was like the ultimate sport rivalry. I really think it's Army Navy or any of the service academies when they play together. You're exactly right. I think we all want to win. We all want to win the right way, which is something that I think our country needs more of in general. And, the service academies all try to do it the right way. We don't always succeed, but we try to win and we try to do it the right way.
Oh, for sure. There's no arguing calls all the time in those games. Guys aren't like freaking out for wanting a flag if they get touched. I mean, they welcome the dirty hit. Like, okay, I got you. They're just playing hard, man. There's no, that's what sport is, right? I like how you put that. Trying to do it the right. It's sport, man. Those guys are, I mean, one guy got drafted this year, I think from the Naval Academy, right? To go play pro football, but that doesn't happen all the time from those service academies. So those guys are like, we're not going to go make millions, but we're going to go serve our country, right? So they're just trying to, have fun with it. I love it, dude.
And you get to know them too. Like I know on other campuses, like the football team is kind of like they're all getting tutored and they're whatever, like they're there to play football. At West Point, like I have a lot of my friends who were on the football team. One of my classmates went and did his 5 years on active duty as an Army Ranger and then went to the NFL.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Villanueva.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Last name. Yeah.
Where did he play?
Pittsburgh.
That's what I thought. Pittsburgh. Yeah. He was one of the guys that was really, really outspoken on, dude, they can do whatever they want when that song plays. Oh, by the way, you're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, everybody was mad at that too. I remember seeing reports on that of like, how could you? And he's like, really, dude? Like, hold on. Let's remember where we live, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. Land of the free.
So what was your I don't know what they call them, designators in the Navy, but as an officer, what was your specialty?
Engineer. So I ended up branching
Oh.
engineer, and the Army, that is a combination of general engineering. So that would be like the CV's work, combat engineering, and geospatial engineering, all as one branch.
Wow. Which one did you do more of? Is there one that you go in to do more of than another?
Combat engineering. So that's like the cool. I picked engineers because I had, after my first deployment, realized I don't know if my body could take a full 20-year career of doing the hula hula stuff. And as much as I still wanted to do more hula hula stuff, I didn't know how long that would last for. And so I just wanted options. And I figured I would study physics and get a degree in physics because you can do almost anything with it. And then branching engineers was all about, when you're a young engineer officer in the Army, you can go do sapper stuff, which is like the engineer equivalent of ranger. You can go do the combat engineering stuff. You can go build roads and buildings if you want. But then also, as you get older, if you want to go do the Corps of Engineer stuff and do large scale infrastructure and whatnot, you totally could. So, or you could stay on the combat side. Like, there was a whole bunch of options. Whereas if you just went infantry, you were just infantry the entire time.
Yeah, makes sense.
I
So
remember
what was your
badge being revered? Ranger may have been small unit tactics, but having that sapper tab, leadership tab, that was amazing. My bad, go ahead.
No, for sure. I was going to ask you, what was the duty station you went to after West Point once you graduated?
Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
Oh,
I know.
that was
Pity
horrible.
me. Yeah. It's
And what year was that?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what year group are you?
yeah. So I graduated 2010.
Okay. So when you got there, was that unit deploying? Were they gearing up to deploy? Did they just get back? Like, what was their op tempo like when you got there?
So being in the Pacific, most of the Army units there, the Army didn't like deploying them because we were supposed to be responsible for deploying to Korea if it kicked off, or anything in the entire Pacific theater. When I got to the island, no one in my unit had deployed since 2008, I think. So it's been several years, and it was off, like, it was not the normal Army op tempo. And then what happens when you're a young Army officer, you get thrown to the bullpen of staff, and then all the company commanders come looking around, and then if they like you, like, they're going to pull you down to their company. And I got pulled down to a company that was deploying in like 11 months from when I arrived on the island. So I was just immediately in train up mode for Afghanistan.
Oh, wow. We haven't deployed in forever, except you. You're going in 11
Absolutely.
months. You're like, great.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm sure you having that experience, though, talk to us a little bit about, now you're an officer, now you're in that leadership role, trying to make a difference where you saw there was holes as a young E4. How did your experience of deploying already help them get ready to deploy if a lot of those guys haven't deployed before?
Two things. One is, the thing no one likes to talk about on the officer side, because it's just not cool, is what logistics you actually have to do, right? Like, everyone all of a sudden wants to, once you have all the resources, go do all the cool training, the live fire exercises, the convoy exercises, whatnot. But you know what? If you're not going to be in the same vehicles, if you have light skinned Humvees in Hawaii and you're going to be on up armored Buffaloes that are 60,000 pounds in Afghanistan, what's the real benefit of driver's training and Humvees? There isn't any. And so just learning how to prioritize for what you're actually expected to go find. The other thing I did was prioritize language training for myself. So I taught myself Pashto because we were going to Afghanistan, which none of my peers did. And then the third thing I would say is, the field grades that we had, also, most of them hadn't deployed at all. They were like in this weird year group where they were in training during a lot of this busy times, and then they went to quiet units, and they would get so tied up over things like the Easter party for families and how, like, everyone needed to be working a 20-hour day to prepare for the Easter party. And I was just like, maybe we just cut everyone loose to go spend time with their families instead of worrying about how many eggs there are for their kids to find.
Like, bro,
it's prioritization.
Wait a little bit. You're gonna realize them Easter eggs don't matter, bro. They don't matter. The kids don't care. Just throw them out there. They'll find them eventually, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So when you made that deployment, talk to us through that deployment now as an officer, as an engineer. What was that? Were you guys busy? What was it like for you guys getting over there?
Yeah, so we got over there. We were not replacing anyone. So this was sort of the surge for route clearance equipment. So we got mothballed route clearance equipment, and I deployed. I didn't have a platoon yet, so I deployed as sort of a random lieutenant who is a intel guy, maintenance guy, like the jack of all trade guy that just had to go fly around and figure stuff out to help our executive officer. And then 3 months in, I thought I was going to get one platoon, had some leadership issues in the company, ended up taking a different platoon. So I literally met my platoon sergeant like after I ran my first mission, having no training with this new platoon and just being like, go take them to Marja and go figure out if the Marines need any help. And
Oh, nice.
Helmand Province and our entire mission was doing general support route clearance. So route clearance, driving around 4 kilometers per hour, trying to find all the IEDs buried in the roads. Hours upon hours of boredom with absolute moments of terror. And everyone knows you're coming. The Taliban, everyone can see you're coming. You have lights on your truck that can light up from like tens of miles away. There's no hiding it. And it was just, for me, it was a mental leap of when I was enlisted in Iraq, all the TTPs were get out of your truck, get away, and go fight on the ground. In Afghanistan, in route clearance equipment, where your smallest vehicle is like 30,000 pounds, it was stay in your truck at all costs. But then I also taught myself passion, so I was wanting to get out and talk to people. So I don't know. It was, and then the culture shock between the Army and the Marines was real. Like we would be in the middle of nowhere, like patrol base, and still having separate latrines for officers and enlisted blew my mind. And I'm sorry to this day for all the Marines I freaked out as a young lieutenant walking into the latrine. Sorry, their head.
Yeah. Well, you walked into the wrong one?
Yeah, well, I arrived at this patrol base at like 2:00 in the morning after fighting all day, and I just needed to go to the bathroom. I did not see the little 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper they wrote like lower enlisted for this latrine. I just walked in and like everyone's young in here, but whatever. Like I just want to go to the bathroom.
So when you walk out and realize that happened, like, did someone come up to you and be like, hey, dude, it's not how we do things here, right?
No, they were totally
go to
cool about it. It was
that
just, it was like the most awkward thing for me when you walk in and everyone just stops and stares at you. It's like, this is a bathroom. Like, what is going on?
That was that whole police academy scene, bro. You were in the Blue Oyster.
I was. And I feel bad about it. But also, like, the weird thing about the Marines is just like the Marine Corps officers don't want to talk to my Army enlisted guy. As an Army guy, like when I get to the patrol base, I'm checking my squad leaders, and my head NCO, my platoon sergeant, my E7 would go check in. But for the Marines, it was completely flip-flop. The E7 they thought should be hanging out, checking out with the squad leaders, and I, as the officer, had to go talk to the officer on the watch. Stupid stuff like that. I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah, there's a distinct difference there between how they both run, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. You know, that's probably where the term "once a Marine, always a Marine" comes from. You know,
yeah,
never gives out, man. Never gives out. So, how long was that deployment that you went on? Was that your last deployment, or was that just one of many?
That was my last deployment, but that was a full year, like a truly full year.
So I got a question for you real quick. So what was it like being a West Point graduate, jack of all trades, engineer? I was with 2nd Engineer MP Battalion, or 2nd Engineer Battalion out of White Sands, and we went to Mazar Sharif. It was an economy of force. So we were doing route clearance in the German sector up in Mazar Sharif. So what was it like for you? You said something earlier about you were sent to basically help all the XOs projects or whatever. And I, being on staff for a lot of my career, know how imperative that is for engineers, especially. So what were some of the things like culvert denial systems? What kind of things did you come up with as a fucking physicist working as an engineer? Because I have a certain reverence for physicists, because my brother-in-law is a physicist, Bob McElrath. And some of the things I'm going to ask you in the hot seat will probably scare the shit out of us when you wax poetic about it. But what was it like for you being a physics guy with route clearance in Afghanistan, and the ideas you had to come up with?
Oh gosh, two biggest things, or three things. One is, at that point, the U.S. government was buying so many freaking robots that our platoons were getting new types of robots every single week. And they just expected us to figure out how to use them and how to employ them. And so I stood up, I got all the nerds together, and we just started playing with them, and we built playbooks and turned them into a video game approach. So that's one. Two, at that time was also, most of our soldiers were brand new to ground penetrating radar systems. So these are radar systems that you use to looking to the ground to try to see disturbances in the ground, try to find the IEDs. And I can't go into the specifics of all the technical details, but like everyone, we just got told like they don't work well in the rain, but no one ever told us why. And so I used my physics background to write I think it was a 2-page paper about how radar reflects off of water, which is why every time you watch the Weather Channel and you have Doppler radar looking at where the rain is, it's because radar reflects off of water. And so I wrote the physics paper for that, and that circulated around to the point where my next NTC rotation to prepare for a deployment that ultimately got off-ramped, I got shared that paper and like, you need to know this. I was like, I wrote that, but my name got taken off of it. And then the third part was, at that point, Palantir Technologies was relatively new. And so I was doing a whole bunch of the Intel work and just connecting the dots between all the different data systems to just completely map the network of how IEDs are made. Everyone's talking about where they're found or where they're exploded, which is what all the reports were on. But to really map, hey, not just where they're found, where they're exploded, but where's the nearest bomb maker that you know of? Where's the nearest financer that you know of? Where's the nearest transportation hub that you know of? And just start like mapping it all out on a map. And then when I took over my platoon, basically got told like, hey, go figure out if you're right. So those really be the three things that like being in the wild west of Afghanistan. And I love being deployed as an Army guy. I hated being in garrison. I hated reflective belts. I hated formation. I love just here's a mission, go figure it out and do whatever you need to do. That's the part of it I really enjoyed.
Sir, my tactical meter doesn't get moved that much, but I love the absolute physics. You physics the shit out of route clearance, and I love that. That's a mighty use of your power.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So how many years had you been in the Army at this point when that deployment was over?
And that deployment was over. I was with my prior service time and my active duty officer time. I was probably in for 6 years or so at that point, not counting West Point time.
Gotcha. And so how many more years did you follow on doing? I know you said that was your last deployment. Did you do many years after that?
I did another couple years after that. So my wife was a year group ahead of me. She's an 09 officer. And so the Army brought her to Washington, D.C. And I was still in Hawaii. And basically my branch said, we can send you to Honduras to go fight and like do operations for all the anti-drug stuff, but we can't like figure out a way to have you go live with your wife. And by that point we had been married for close to 5 years. We've been apart for like 4 of them. And so we just put down our foot and I said, hey, I will guarantee I will get out of the Army. I don't need a command queue if I could just go live with my wife. And then they sent me to DC to finish up my active duty time.
Oh, nice. Nice. So I was going to ask you what made you take that off ramp to go that way. So how did you and your wife meet?
We met at West Point she was a year group ahead of me. She was a supply sergeant as a cadre member for summer training when I was a freshman rising to be a sophomore. So out doing field training. She was literally like the first time I ever saw her. She was handing MREs out of the back of a Humvee.
You were instantly like, she's the one. She provides the beans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she didn't give me the omelet. So all good.
Oh, yeah. So, so I guess dated while at West Point. I mean, I would assume, or was it after? Like, how did that go out for you guys?
Yeah, so we had exactly one date at West Point, and this is actually in the book, by the way. It's a pretty funny story that she hates that I tell, but it's true. Yes. And we have one date. It was one of the special sort of class weekends. Tried my best. After that date, she gave me an after action review of all the crap I got wrong. And most of it wasn't even my fault, but she was like, hey, whoever you date next, like I'm doing them a favor. Here's what you need to improve. Well, she ultimately got stationed in Hawaii a year before I did. And when she got out to the regular Army, she was really struggling because West Point is sort of an ecosystem onto itself. You have a whole bunch of officers who are genuinely top tier officers. You have a whole bunch of NCOs who are generally top tier NCOs. And then you get out to the regular Army, you realize, oh, not everyone is top tier. She was like really struggling with that. And so that was the Army I knew because I grew up in it, professionally speaking, especially coming up through the National Guard. And so when she was out the year, I was a firstie doing a whole bunch of research and whatnot, and kind of just being lonely. A whole bunch of my friends had already graduated, just started chatting with her. And then when I found out I was getting stationed in Hawaii, it's when we really started talking a lot. And then we started dating once I got out to Hawaii. It's way easier to fall in love in Hawaii than West Point for sure.
Oh, I would imagine. I also could envision you going back going, do you want to rethink that after action you gave me? Because I'm just saying, I think I nailed it if you compare it to all this stuff we're around right now. That's where I would have been.
I did not bring that up until after we got married. But yeah.
Oh, smart man.
It came up after we got married for sure.
You did study physics, so you are a smart man for sure.
Appreciate that.
So for you, you knew that you were going to get out when you went to DC, right?
Yeah.
So what was the transition for you like to get out? Because obviously your wife was still in when you got out. So like you're still, and I don't know, maybe it's not the same, but you're still kind of around that world, right? Because she's still in, you still see people. But for you personally making that transition out and being done, what was it like for you to get through? Did you get the resources you need? Kind of if you could walk us through how that microscope was for you, because we like to hear how everybody's was the same but different, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah, totally. I got incredibly lucky. And how I got lucky is this. When I was in Afghanistan, one of my trucks got blown up. My 3 soldiers got medevaced. And that was the 3rd day of a 30-day long mission. And so I spent 27 nights in sort of the Afghan countryside, just wondering, why are we still here 10 years after the original invasion, after 9/11? And why does it seem like nothing's really getting better? And I just decided when I was in Afghanistan, I knew physics. I could describe and design a nuclear weapon or a nuclear power plant. I could use physics for a whole bunch of good stuff. I didn't really know how our government made decisions, and I just knew I wanted to go study it at some point. And since the Army brought me to DC, that has a whole bunch of the nation's best policy schools, I said, hey, if I'm going to get out from here, I might as well take advantage of that. So my ultimate transition plan was to leave active duty Army, use my GI Bill, and I went and got 2 masters, one in public policy and the others in international relations, both from Georgetown, just to try to understand how our government made decisions. And so I got to use sort of 3 months of terminal leave to start my grad school career. And those grad programs were also designed for you to be a full-time student, but only take up half your time. So you can also go work half time, which is how I ended up working at the State Department, to go see foreign policy being made firsthand and be part of it, to also help while I'm studying it in the classroom. And in addition to all of that, and this is where I think I got truly lucky, the Army transition program really, for a young officer, didn't help. But Deloitte as a company would have this, or they have this program to this day. It's called CORE. And they flew us, a selection of senior NCOs, young officers who were getting out of the Army, to their Deloitte University in Dallas, Texas, and taught us how to network, how to build your resume, how to actually interview. And they ran us through mock interviews. They brought in clients and partners of theirs to actually network with. And that actual hands-on experience was way more valuable than any class the Army could have ever put us through.
Oh, for sure. That's what you just described at the end there is the key component to getting out, right? We know how to, finish a mission. We know how to follow directions. We know how to do all these things, but how do I talk to people that are not in the military? That's the first thing. How do I talk to them? Because at the end of the day, we all think we know how to do it because we talk to our kids' friends in their school, or we're out at community events and we're talking to people, and half the time we're telling dumbass stories from service and everybody's laughing, right? We think that's how you talk to people in a job interview, and that is not how you do it. So I like that they did that. So is that because you were in the DC area? Does Deloitte go all over the Army to do that? Or is that like you're just in the right place at the right time?
So Deloitte being a private company, I ended up working for them for a little while years later. Different offices will do different things. They have a massive office in the DC area. So that's how I got connected. They do it from other offices, but it's not everywhere. They don't do it for everyone. They couldn't have the resources to do it for everyone. But 2 quick things there. And one is the culture of going through the sort of training, I guess, for lack of a better word. Because in the Army, especially as a young officer, especially as a West Pointer who was really, I'm proud of the fact I'm a West Point grad, but I also didn't ever want that to define me in front of soldiers. And in the Army culture, you don't network. That is considered brown nosing, or trying to work your way up the ranks for all the wrong reasons, right? And then to go through actually you have to network, and this is how you do it, life-changing. And then the
Oh,
other
yeah.
part of that is, going through civilian interviews, if you've never had an interview before when you're already a mid-career professional, and you get those questions with like, have you ever had to deal with stress? And like the initial answer is like, well, yeah, like my soldiers got blown up, I've been shot at. Like, what level of stress do you want to talk about? And then they just
You're
go
like,
pale.
whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Or
not
just
a good
learning how to
one.
translate. Yeah. Hey, I wasn't an engineer platoon leader. I was a leader of a 45-person organization doing complex missions or operations, whatever, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's what I always like. Again, that's the whole key. Maybe we should just call Deloitte and say, hey, man, you guys got a big office in DC. Walk across the street and say, hey, we do this program with select people. Could we come teach that at all of your Soldier for Lives, your TGPSs for the Navy, whatever they call it in the Air Force and the Marine Corps? Like, can we come teach this? Like, why can't it be a partnership? I just hate that everything is so stricted down to like, if Deloitte did that at transition classes, then that means the government's only endorsing Deloitte. No, actually, they're endorsing a good freaking program. Like, it's crazy at how less of a benefit you get because of the optic it's going to be on how you got it. You know what I mean? It's amazing skill bridge ever got through to allow you to go to a civilian company and work before you got out. You know what I mean? I wonder what kind of crazy arguments it was around doing something like that. Going, what do you mean? We're going to take all these guys out while we're still doing all these things operationally and just let them go to work for 90 days? Well, yeah, like, what the hell, dude? Like, you don't even care about them right now. You're looking at the prospective gain list. Their replacement in your mind is already here. Like, what's the point? You've already kind of like rolled him out, but you never felt rolled out. Oh, got to be here. You know what I mean? So that's crazy. So if you don't mind, walk through, what was it like working in the State Department and seeing how policy was made and what the thought process was to it, and how was that all the while that you were learning it? And my follow on to that, if you could wrap it in there, is like, you went to go see it done, you learned it in the class. How are those different on how they're taught and how it actually works?
Let me start with the cultural difference between the military in general and the State Department. The military is all about who's in command, who has the decision-making authority, and that doesn't really matter what branch you're talking about. And if you're in the Pentagon, if you have the data to make the argument and you can find the decision maker, you can get decisions made, but navigating who that is the hard part. In the State Department, the State Department's job is to represent the entire US government to the rest of the world. And so what I ended up doing was science diplomacy. The federal government has over 20 different science agencies. And to figure out where the US government position was on any issue, you had to go talk to 20 different institutions and then go talk to all the other folks who are tangentially related. And so what you end up getting is a culture that is built on compromise in terms of making things work, and people who really prioritize a storytelling capability over a data-driven assessment and not really caring about your feelings. And that was a culture shock through and through, to the point where on internal State Department memos trying to get decisions made, at the end of every one of those memos, you have an authorization page or a signature page where every office that you need to get signed off has to say okay or no, and then you have to go talk to them about it. And the reality of doing that work, when you study it in the classroom, it is sort of sanitized. You're talking about the big issues. Is it great power competition? Is it liberalism, constructivism, realism? Is it, the case study? How would you approach this negotiation differently? The real world practice is all people. Because, oh, by the way, if I'm going to do science diplomacy in the Western Hemisphere, which I did, the United States government has 20 different science agencies. We have thousands upon thousands of universities. We have the administration, the political folks that you have to consider like what they want out of it. And then the country that you're dealing with has all the same stuff. So you better be good at forming relationships, because at some point you're going to be put in these impossible positions where the US position is X, their position is the inverse of X, and you're just going to have to accept it and move on, or figure out some creative solution to it. And so the problem solvers at the State Department, generally speaking, were phenomenal. But boy, the ability to tell a really good story is way more prioritized than the sort of I don't care about your feelings, here are the facts approach.
Mm. So what questions were answered for you when you started doing the job and learning how to do it, from being in that time that you were out there for 27 days and trying to figure it out, and you're just sitting there like, why are we here? How do these decisions get made? Did you get answers to the questions, or did you get more questions than answers?
I got better questions, I think. And by that,
Okay.
I mean, when you really step back and look at it from a purely sort of macro, big overview perspective, if you look at how our federal government is built nowadays, you have the Department of Defense or Department of War, whatever you want to call it. They're getting literally about $1 trillion a year or more with the latest stuff going on. The State Department is getting a fraction of that. But if you kind of think about the spectrum of peace to war, the Department of Defense or Department of War is really only supposed to be managing the very extreme end of conflict, like when we're actually at war. The State Department is supposed to manage everything else. And yet the resources are completely the opposite of that. So when I was in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, doing route clearance, being told by State Department people, we have to go convince local farmers to grow grain instead of opium. And oh, by the way, I have to escort all of these wheat trucks up to these farmers who have to answer to the Taliban why they're growing opium. And the State Department official just doesn't get it. The GS-14, the GS-15, whose idea it was, just doesn't get the reality on the ground. Well, being in the State Department, seeing it from the other side is how few resources the State Department actually has compared to the Department of Defense, yet how much more stuff they have to manage, right? When probably us, like our group, were in our heyday in active duty, Iraq and Afghanistan is largely what we're managing, and there was stuff going on elsewhere in the world. The State Department has to have an active presence in every single country all the time. It's wild to me.
Oh, there you go. So half the time I think was the better questions, like, why is there not enough people in here to make this a little bit better, right? Because like that's crazy. I never knew that, right? So you listen to stuff and you hear stuff, and then being in, you look, you're like, why are we doing this, right? Makes sense now, because somebody's overworked and underpaid, and they're just like, I got to get this off the desk. It's been here 6 months. Just do this, right? Not that's what they probably would have done if they had time to actually, think it out. It's just that this is what we're going to do. You know what I mean?
This is what we're going to do. The other part, and this is not a partisan thing at all, the federal government has about 4,000 political appointees, give or take. About 2,500 of them, give or take, are all in the State Department. The State Department is the most influenced by the political winds of the moment than any other department, but that's all the ambassadors. That's all the political appointees in the State Department. But the State Department is supposed to be the administration's face out to the world. So that's also a huge part of it as well. In the DOD, for example, I don't know how many millions of personnel the DOD has off the top of my head. They have a couple hundred political appointees. The State Department has a fraction of the amount of people, and they have 2,500. So that's another thing to consider.
Oh, yeah. Because all your ambassadors to other countries are from the State Department.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, I mean, is that a political decision? Because if the State Department had the resources and they were in State Department uniforms, for lack of a better term, is that a political thing to where they don't want to be occupying something, and so they have to use military force for other things? I mean, we don't have to get into that because we hardly ever get into politics. But
yeah,
is that really political? Is why
it's political, but not partisan. It's political in that from World War II on, like, we've always had a big military. The Cold War, all the military funding for nuclear weapons was a part of that. In the State Department is always like, there's no real U.S. constituency for the State Department. Like, all of the State Department work is protecting Americans overseas, which is a very small fraction of. Whereas, defense contractors, like in my part of Connecticut, we make nuclear submarines in Groton. If we stop making nuclear submarines, the entire economy of Eastern Connecticut would be in serious jeopardy. So we're always going to make more nuclear submarines. And by the way, we need them for national security. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you look at the F-35 and how the F-35 has a component made in every congressional district, all that stuff keeps money flowing to the Department of Defense, whether it's a good idea or not. If you could go to a dry erase board, I think, or at least I would just throw it out there and say, if you can make the Department of War actually Department of War and give them everything that's just only used for war, the attack helicopters, the Rangers, the tanks, the only things that you'll ever use if you're actually at war, the 18 to 22-year-old, hua, go for it. Let's put them all there. And then let's give all the dual use stuff, all the military police, all the engineers, all the hospital ships and whatnot to the Department of State and just make that the department of everything else. I think you would see a different foreign policy because we would have a different toolkit. But, these structures weren't made overnight. They were made over basically from World War II on. And the structures just aren't made that way. So there's almost impossible to go ahead and just do it now. I don't know if that helps, but.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants to sacrifice their lineage. Everybody wants the same separate branches and everything. So yeah, there's no way they're going to give up resources. That's another political issue. Damn, two political issues in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting to hear it though. Like he's saying, I wonder.
Somebody's got to do some political shit to get that money to flow. Like that's so interesting how you put it, where this part's going to be made here, that part's going to be made here. All that bullshit is really what has to happen. So ultimately, the relationships you're talking about, it's fascinating to me. Keep going, bro.
Oh no, that's what I was going to say. Like just how knowing that, you working down there, we see what we see on TV, but I mean, I'm sure there's more going on than just that. I mean, everybody's got to work together. Like if you just said, if there's a part made by in every congressional district, that is no longer us, you, them, us, right? Everybody's concerned with that, right? So I just, I think it's interesting how that was explained because like Ty just said, I've never really thought about it that way. Was this what you were doing in the State Department of work? Is that how your book came about, or did that come about after that or through that, or how did you come up with the book?
So the book was really, and this part will get a little bit partisan. After the 2024 election, I ran for a second time for a state seat. And I don't really lead with my political affiliation at all because it's like the least important thing about me. And I just ran a race where I went out and door knocked on 9,000 doors. About half of that was in 2022, half of that was in 2024. And just seeing the sort of agreement I was getting at doors, talking to people face to face, and seeing how much disagreement there was on social media, seeing how much disagreement there is in our national media. And I just spent a couple months putting down my ideas of how I think we got to now. And a huge part of that was formed from my experience at Georgetown, studying it, getting to see behind the curtains in DC. And also the State Department's really good working there for seeing how a whole bunch of other countries doing it. So my portfolio at the State Department was covering science relationships with all the countries in North, South America. That's 32 different countries that all have their own problems too, and getting to interact with their political leaders in a real way that's not, on camera, it's not scripted, and we just get to compare notes, was fascinating. And it's a way to understand America that most people don't get a chance to. When you talk to foreigners about how they're seeing America, because what goes on in this country impacts everyone in every other country. And that's something I think most Americans don't understand. Most Americans don't travel all that much, or when we do is for tourism. But what we do with our military, what we do with our funding, what we do with a whole bunch of stuff impacts everyone else. So they watch it more than a lot of Americans watch it. And so there are insights from the State Department in the book, but largely the book originated as me just trying to figure out for myself how I think we got to now where everyone seems so pissed off, and the idea of using politics to solve actual problems seems like a quaint idea that just isn't like what we use it for now.
So what do you think? So I would just be curious, in the book itself, if you were to just describe to someone, these are the points that you should really take from what this is based off the research you did and how you've seen it. Like what is someone going to learn by reading the book and engulfing themselves in the knowledge and the research that you did? Because it is interesting to hear you say, I had way better response knocking on 9,000 doors than I did looking at a TV or social media, right? And I think the reason that is one, we've kind of lost an art to be face-to-face. The whole stuff you just talked about, and working at State Department, going to Georgetown, doing policy, working with scientists, it's all networking, dude. You got to talk to people, and you have to talk to people. You can't talk to the computer. You can't email, right? But that's where we want to talk to each other now. It's really crazy on that. So I think it's interesting that you just made that point of like, I face-to-face 9,000 people, let's go. But if you type something because you got to campaign both ways. Now it's like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And so what someone will get out of, and the book's set up in 3 different parts. The first part is my life story, which we covered a lot of here. The second part is genuinely a 50-year history of how we got to now, told with as little jargon as possible. And so there's an entire chapter to just talk about purely everything that we probably should have already been taught about how actual economics works. Then there's an entire chapter talking about how the political system caters to the donor class, and that's both Democrat and Republican. It's not a partisan analysis. It is just how decisions get made and who is Congress actually responsive to based on data. Then there's an entire chapter on how political campaigns across the political aisle has fed into the division that we're seeing now, and how different tools like social media has really made it a whole lot worse. And then I do touch on some culture war issues. So I'm an evangelical Christian, so I talk a little bit about that. And then the whole last third of the book is actual solutions that could fix these problems that we're all facing. And while it does get a little bit partisan, every solution, or I tee up an entire selection of solutions that over 2/3 of Americans agree with across political lines. And I just wanted to make the case that, like, we can actually solve this if we really wanted to. There are real solutions to be had. And most political books, or most people who write books that talk about the political state of the country, never get to the solution side because they never want to be wrong, because they never want to have the off chance that they want to run for office 10 years from now and not have it over the head for them. And I just kind of approached it as, I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to be part of the problem. And if I do run for office or higher office at some point down the road, if I was wrong, great, let's talk about it. Why was I wrong? We'll let data drive the decision making for everything I believe in, what I'm running for. But that's basically what people will learn from the book. And as much as I am definitely one political party, again, not super important to me, you will find analysis of where both parties have gone wrong in terms of like actually helping people.
No, that's a very interesting point. I like that that you put it that way. And I mean, at the end of the day, what would be the top 2 things you say that we could do that, 2/3 of the people agree with? These are the top 2 things we could do to just get it going in the right direction, right? Because I'm sure you offer a lot of great solutions. The problem is a lot of times we try to do all that shit at once, and you're like, dude, we got to go one step at a time. So what would be the top 2 things you think we could do to kind of get it going in the right direction?
Let me tell you the first 2 things that we need to do. The first one is we need to get money out of politics. Right now, the political system, both Democrat and Republicans, and I show this with data in the book, is very responsive to people with money to donate to campaigns, because 97% of campaigns that win have more money than the other side. In order to get money out of politics, the answer to that is we need to get more people to show up to vote. And in the last presidential election, more people, over 90 million Americans, did not vote than voted for either candidate. And so when you have the majority of voters not voting, it allows the minorities in the country who are the extremes of either party to really have a lot more say than they politically should if more people showed up to vote. So if you can convince 1 in 10 people that didn't vote that there's something worth voting for, you can get money out of politics. And then what could you do with a political system that was actually responsive to what the majority of people wanted? That would fundamentally change politics for an entire lifetime in our country. And the only way you could do it is by getting more people to show up to vote.
Oh, dude, that would be so great. It would be so great. I mean, it's and it sucks too, because a lot of times, I don't know, you probably heard it a lot, but this is why I hear it doesn't matter who I vote for anyway, this person's going to win. Well, it does matter, because if you don't vote and you would have voted for the other guy, and I always use the analogy, what if that person, it's a dead end tie, and you decided not to vote, then whoever you thought should be there would have won. That's never going to happen. I'm like, never say never, man. It could. Every vote counts, right? It's like it's part of being an American, dude. You're here to vote so that we can vote on how we want this shit to go. But it just seems like nowadays the money part and the ad part and all that people don't do it. I wish more people would vote. We try to tell a lot of people on our show here, in particular, Chris, is get involved in your local elections, dude. Who's going to be your city councilman? Who's going to be your judge?
Yeah.
Who's going to be your mayors? Who's going to be your school board presidents? Like, these are all the people that are now the ones you see on TV. They started somewhere, right? Most people don't just walk off the street into that. They've done something in government somewhere. Get involved in those locality ones and figure out what's going on. And you could probably get a good pulse of, what's going on in other places. But
let me say that back to you. It's slightly different language. Everyone's pissed off at 435 members of the House of Representatives or 100 senators or a president, vice president. I get it. There's good reason to be pissed off regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on. There are about 600,000 elected officials in this country between local, county, state levels, even before you get up to federal level. A lot of those elections are decided by tens of votes, not millions of votes. And, oh, by the way, exactly what you said, I agree with, which is those lower level offices is where you as a political person that wants to try it out, to try to do some good, learns the skill of running a campaign, learns the skill of how to like operate in public meetings and all of that. And it's a real skill you have to learn the same way networking and interviewing is. And you can actually have a lot of say by choosing who's in the sort of minor league farm system to eventually go run for federal offices. And that's where I think you can convince a lot more people to show up to vote, is to say, take a little bit more work, get a little bit more informed about what's going on closer to home, but treat that as a farm system, the same way that people who are nuts about baseball track the minor league teams to know who's coming up. We should be doing that for politics, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I see coming out on TV in Texas where we live that they're like, this person's already like whatever the story is. And I'm like, never even heard of this person. How have they been fighting this for years? And it's like, oh, it's the TV ad.
Talking about MAGA Mays Middleton.
And other people, Menifee, like on both sides, they got these guys that are like this and that, and it's all the ads. And I'm like, shit, dude, I'm just gonna start Googling these dudes and reading about them because I don't want to watch TV. Because they both have ads that say everybody freaking loves them, but they both have slandering ads that say how horrible they are. I'm like, jeez. Right.
And here's a trick from my consulting days. If you really want to know what a person's about, don't listen to what they say or watch their ad. Watch what they do. So if it's someone who has had any sort of office, like ask AI or Google to tell you what they actually did with that time while they're in office. If they're a rookie, if they're just running for the first time, it's a little bit harder to do. But watch what they did in their professional life. Like that will tell you more than anything they say.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the point now where the screen is hot. It's on fire. Ty's wearing sunglasses. So it's my turn to take a break, and he gets to ask you hot seat questions. So I will be right back.
Cool.
Your mind, so to speak. So we want to get to know you a little bit better. So I'm going to ask you a lot easier questions, but I guess I'll start off with a hard one. In the style of Neil deGrasse Tyson, tell me the scariest thing you know about our universe.
It would take less than 100 nuclear weapons to destroy all of humankind, and we have, as one country, the United States, have over 5,000 of them.
And for the people, that would just because of the utter chaos, it would cause nuclear winter.
Yeah, that's the nuclear winter idea. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So basically, spurt radioactive debris all around the country or all around the world. If they're all detonated at roughly the same time in like a nuclear attack, that will block out the sun. We wouldn't be able to grow food. That's how people die. Sorry, it's down.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the Interstellar. Like it's scary as fuck when our Earth decides we don't want it. It doesn't want us anymore.
Yeah.
All right, what's the most unique place in the world you've ever visited?
The headwaters of the Amazon rainforest to see research into the Zika virus.
The Zika virus, okay. And then what is that exactly?
So Zika was a mosquito-borne virus that hit the United States years ago, and the Navy has a research lab in and around Iquitos, Peru, that figured out how to breed mosquitoes to figure out how to actually take on the disease, which is why it was a big moment in the news about like pregnant women not being able to travel to Zika environments, whatnot. And all of a sudden it just like wasn't news anymore. It's because the Navy had a research operation with the government of Peru, and they figured out how to attack the disease.
That's amazing, the work that you're doing. That's freaking amazing to me. All right. What is the first concert you went to, and what's the best concert you've been to?
The first concert I went to was Weird Al Yankovic in Hartford,
That's what I'm
Connecticut.
talking about. Weird
Yeah,
Al.
so much fun. The best concert I went to was genuinely a Bon Jovi concert. Bon Jovi back in the day could really
What year?
rock. That would have been 2005.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My wife and I's song is a Bon Jovi song. The "Thank You for Loving Me." So
Nice.
showing a tender side of Ty.
Yeah.
Don't normally do that. All right, sir. You were enlisted and you were an officer. You're a West Pointer, so you're going to look at this, very analytically. But plus you're an enlisted guy, so maybe you'll just rat fuck the MRE. But what is the best MRE?
I hate MREs so much because when I was in Iraq, I had to eat so many of them. The best part of the MRE is either the M&Ms or the pound cake.
Yeah. If you had a pound cake, you had some, some trade stuff. All right, quick question here. Give me your quick elevator take on cryptocurrencies.
I don't understand what problem it is solving. So I only invest in things I can genuinely understand. And as much as I get people don't like the regulation of currencies and fiat currencies, now that cryptocurrencies is getting regulated and taxed, I don't see I don't see the value in it, but that's just me.
All right, sir. Last two questions here. One of the most important ones here. Who's the greatest of all time, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Just hands down, why?
Not only what he did with the Bulls, and that was like me coming of age watching sports, but memorializing it all in Space Jam, but also just like his real life story of like not even making it on the high school basketball team in a country that says like if you're not exceptional from the moment you're in middle school, like you're not going to go anywhere, and just the tenacity to stick it out, to just have the self-confidence to believe it, and then go on to win championship after championship with very different sort of teams. Greatest of all time.
Excellent. Love the answer. All right. AR, I'm gonna bring Matt back on in for this. You've done a lot of podcasts. I read it in your bio. What can we do to make our podcast better?
Ooh. I think you guys do so much well. I would just say the one thing is, I don't know how big your live audience is, but doing some live Q&A. So I don't know if there's like a hot seat live version that you can do with people in the audience actually pumping the questions in. That would be pretty cool.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, we might have to start requesting questions throughout the week and then popping them off real quick.
I don't know.
The bios, yeah.
Some of our audience members, I don't know if our hot seat people are going to want to answer some of the questions they ask, especially if they're Al's friends. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean?
We want to hear the answers.
Well, we would probably want to hear the answers, but the guests would probably turn red on a couple of them. You know what I mean? But that's actually a good idea. That would be good.
I get one a week. So
nice.
Well, Chris, I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you sharing everything. Before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out and talk about your book one more time?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thank you for having me. So the book is You Shouldn't Have to Kill to Get Ahead, Reimagining Wealth, Power, and Belonging in America. Part my life story, part how we got to now, part what we could do about it. And if you're interested in buying it, my website, chrisrivers.com, has all the links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the places you can buy it, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. So if you like my voice, I recorded it.
I love that you see. I'm going to go get the audiobook. I like listening to books that I've met people that have written a book, and
you
then
can hear their perspective.
Read it. Now I feel like I'm talking to you again. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
I put the in the comments, I put the hard book because, like, for real, hey, platoon, listen up. Triple Threat Vet Platoon, go ahead and buy this book, man. This is we need people that are thinking about things and how to fix things in the world at large. And the State Department things he talks about and managing those relationships. This is someone that evidently does a lot of analyzation of what he has to say. So go buy the book, Chris Rivers, You Shouldn't Have to Kill to Get Ahead. That's cool as hell. Appreciate you so much, man.
No, yeah, thank you both.
Man. Anytime you want to come back, give us a shout. If you've got something that you want to put out, let's say there's another book on the way. Whatever it is that you got going on, man, your family now, you're welcome back anytime.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. I'll definitely be back. This is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Anytime.
All right. Hey, that was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's I have to introduce him to show his book to my brother. It's funny when you get them people together that just think about things differently and everything they say makes sense. And you're like, Jesus, like these are the people that are going to make the world better for the rest of us. I forgot to ask him about the 3 reactors that were ordered to be opened up. And I think there's 3 mini reactors in Utah. I forgot to ask him about that.
I mean, I think he's still there.
Yeah. Let me ask you about that. Back for a second time.
Awesome.
What do you think about all the I think there was 3 nuclear reactors that were ordered to be opened around the country. I think Microsoft is opening one, I guess 3 Mile Island for their data centers. And then I know in Utah there's a mini modular type reactor that's being developed by a certain company. I don't want to name them because I don't want to get it wrong. But what do you think about that technology and like your elevator pitch for nuclear technology, nuclear reactors in the future?
A couple things. First of all, everyone's energy prices for electricity are going up because of the energy demand of both electric vehicles, which has been an old news story now, but the data centers to power these AI tools are going through the roof. So if we don't figure out a way to produce more electricity, your bill is going to be untenable at some point. With that being said, you look at the technologies we have today, renewables can only do so much. The nuclear offers us a way to make relatively clean electricity that can fund or that can fuel these AI energy uses in a way that won't blow up the bank. They're, if done the right way, if they're designed the right way, they're incredibly safe. The thing I would like to see, and the sort of hot seat fact of how many nuclear weapons it would take to destroy all of humankind, it would only take about 100. We have about 5,000 nuclear weapons. You can dilute the uranium that's in those nuclear weapons and just use, let's just say use half of it, 2,500 nuclear weapons. We can make enough electricity in this country to get us to sort of cold fusion or something else. And the fact that we haven't been talking about that for longer is something that baffles me. So not every project is the same. Every project should definitely be very much regulated because you can't screw it up. And I worry a little bit about the people that have been let go from this administration for nuclear oversight. So don't take, like, nothing's a full-blown statement here, but if done well, nuclear power should be something we're investing more in. Some European countries like France, who re-enrich their uranium, produce, I think, about 70% of their power through nuclear power. Countries have figured this out a long time ago. It's old technology at this point. We should be doing more of it. That's my pitch.
I like it. It was scary what you said about how many bombs it would actually take, and this is the number of nuclear powers nations in the world: 3,700 for the United States, 4,400 Russian Federation, 225, and it goes down the list. But that is very scary to think about how many it would actually take versus what we have, and then the political polarity that happens in the world today. It's terrifying. So that's all we have left is to look at new ways to solve the old problems. And I applaud you, sir, for that. I am going to probably get the book on Audible now. So, hey, if you're listening, I think this is the first time we've had an encore guest come back and answer an even better segment to a question, in my view, because I just nerded out on that one. So Al would be making fun of us all right now. But appreciate you very
Probably
much.
Good Al wasn't here today. He'd have been here like this the whole time. He'd have been drooling.
Yeah. But Chris, thank you for coming back and answer the question. We'll talk to you again soon, buddy.
Yeah, happy to.
Thank you,
Thanks.
brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So
See,
that's,
there you go, man.
I've had this slide in our slide deck, and it's just, that's the existential crisis that you think about. Like, man, we need things to calm down, because if you start thinking about what can happen if the world does go crazy, it's alarming. So got to fix these political problems.
I mean, we have a whole bunch of people.
Locally.
Yeah, get involved locally. You have a whole bunch of people all over the world fighting each other. You would just hope that everybody fucking knows, like, we can't get too stupid. Like, we can fight each other and shoot at each other, and that shit's all cool. If we ever get to the point where people are like, let's just start pushing buttons, like we're already so dude, Jesus and God himself have come back already. You know what I mean? Like that. I would hope they'd be like, all right, we need to slow this down before this thing goes in. You know what I mean? But
crazy. It's the things that I hear correlated, and you sit here as hopefully a sane person, having seen how the world works. I was enlisted my whole time, never special ops, but you just see things from being over there so much, and how much the State Department is involved. And I never thought about them not being as funded. That's alarming. That's terrifying to be in the same kind of shit that we are as the Department of War and not being funded the correct way. That's terrifying in and of itself.
But have to make all the answers and sit in all the meetings with all the dignitaries.
Yeah, and be like, oh yeah, everything's good. Yeah, we're gonna get along. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, we don't get political on the show much, but it's fun to dabble a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a difference.
Biting his lip.
I think there's a difference though, Ty, and being political to say, hey, like this is what I believe and yours is stupid. Whereas he is just literally explaining, this is my viewpoint, this is what I see. These are things I think we could do. And not one time did he say where he leans, what he is, and what he does. And with his answers, you would go, man, I could see where he could probably be on either side. Anybody would probably be surprised to see what way he leans if the home team really is that freaking important to you. But I just think he has ideas in general of how to fix things. That's the kind of political stuff I like to talk about, is like,
the roast may start earlier if you keep on saying, I ain't uneducated. I ain't uneducated. Come on now, stop messing with me. Hey, the roast might start early. You start fucking with me tonight, Bob. I'm not educated. You should slap yourself for even thinking I'm uneducated. Shut your mouth.
That's funny.
All right, so we got to go back and cover something since they were getting home from work and doing the thing. We got the live look in with Jen Lee and Cody Gill from the Danny Dietz World Championship 2026 cook-off. We'll talk about why the name changed and bring them on real quick. You got something, Matt?
All I'm saying is that logo for that brand new rookie ass barbecue team coming in, that shit looks good, bro.
Yeah, I know a guy that's got like a graphic design and what other degrees you got on your wall back there?
I think one's project management, another one's some kind of master's in business administration. But I got this right.
That's how I'm educated. I know a guy for everything.
Yeah, I got this right though, Ty. You're the tactical dishwasher. I can check the temperature and I'll slice it, but then Al loves to hold meat. We got it right.
Oh yeah, he's a world-class meat holder.
Oh, for sure. His and other people's. He'll admit to it.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about it all the time. But without further ado, Jen Lee and the queen of all promoters, and Cody Gill, the hand of the queen. What's going on?
Hello.
I got no audio.
Log back on.
I don't know if y'all could hear me.
I can hear
you. Take your log off and log back on. Put phone on do not disturb.
Yeah, that's all it is. We'll figure it out. While you can hear us, Miss Jen, go ahead.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Not as tired as you are.
Yeah. It's already been. I've probably gotten 15 emails from cooks already. I'm like, it's tomorrow. But I just have 47 questions to ask you.
Oh, that's so funny. And what's that? Which cook-off is that for?
Oh, it's this little one. It's down here in, it's over in Waller. It's like the Danny Dietz Memorial World Championship Barbecue, baby.
There you go. They're already wanting to know how's it going to work. Like, for real, dude?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. We're cooking in it. You know that it's a big. I'm just kidding. Don't let me.
I'm so excited y'all are cooking here. Like,
we're gonna attempt.
I pretty much. So we had some changes last year. I mean, Ty was there. He saw a lot of the. All right, wax
fun.
poetic me, Ty.
A lot of the fun.
No, a lot of the challenges. That come with putting on such a production. And so we made some changes this year, have brought in, obviously, some more people that are going to be helping, more like-minded patriots that are shooting for the same end result that we are shooting for. And just to be honest, without having to stop every 10 minutes and pat somebody on the back. So we're really working hard toward people having dedicated focus and having a volunteer heart to come in and be part of this. And that being said, is going to free Tom up a little bit more to, I'm hoping, be your pit coach for Saturdays. So I don't want y'all embarrassing me, seriously. I mean,
Hey, listen, if we embarrass you, Jen, it is
on both sides.
no, it's because Al Hero's in charge. I'm just
don't you
letting
pick on
know.
Al. I love Al.
We're gonna get him drunk. He's gonna rap family tradition again, like he's a rapper, not a country music singer.
That was fantastic, wasn't it?
Funniest video. I'm like, Al, you're the only dude that sings family tradition like you're a gangster. He was like
it was.
I was fucked up. I'm like, oh, I know.
Them boys was loaded. They had a great time.
Oh, for sure.
Ty and Tom get together. I mean, you know how they are. Like, I'm pretty sure at some point, like, there's some tongue gonna happen. It's really kind of very awkward at moments, and I'm like, y'all, that's a lot. Like,
what happens at the VFW, Jen? What happens at the VFW?
What happens in Tennessee?
That's what happens.
Why do you drink to get drunk? To get high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so funny, man.
I mean, I feel awful. Al's brother-in-law got hurt.
He can't stop talking about it, and he's coming to. Isn't he coming to the Danny Deeds?
Is he coming too?
Yeah, we've got White
We're gonna
Mike.
bubble wrap that guy.
White Mike is a character. You're gonna love him. He's crazy. And,
He's crazier than Al, and that's
yeah,
Al's
we
brother.
got Al's brother. Al's dad, I think, is coming. Sean Sant, who is a Navy military working dog handler, is going to come be our person that cooks with us, right?
Yeah, he's coming down with us. Yeah,
and then Al's brother-in-law. It's gonna be a party. We're gonna get a cabin. It's gonna be great.
It's I got your cabin secured, so that's taken care of.
Okay.
Cody, can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm all clear. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. So
can.
Miss Jen,
Awesome.
go ahead and introduce Cody. I kind of tried to give you, you're the queen of all promoters.
This
the
guy right here
Yeah.
is my sanity. Like, he is. We get to take a break from each other, maybe 3 months out of the year ish.
Yeah, like December and January and February. That's about
Yeah.
it.
You know, I mean, we still do things. We still holler and, like, you know, non-barbecue related type stuff. But now when it kicks off, it's 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands of text messages. I mean, it is, it's a lot. It is a lot, but we spend, I would say probably from now until September, we in the morning are on the phone with each other for at least an hour every morning. Like, okay, what's your run through? Where are you at? Like, what are you
What
handling?
you get done last night?
Yeah, what did you get done while you're supposed to be sleeping? He doesn't sleep, so
Yeah.
his mind goes crazy, and he wakes up with 37 different new ideas of, okay, we're going to try this. What about this? And what do you think about this?
Which is exactly why last year, I wanted to help, and I'd been helping before, but the production aspect, the vision, the creativity, the capability, like he knows how to run all the things, and the way he was able to balance all those different egos and personalities. I'll say personalities, but there's egos involved too.
Yeah.
The way Cody Gill's able to do it, like that's why we just mind melded, man. Like I love working.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well,
like
that's why Tom spent like $10,000 in 3 weeks after cook-off. I'm like, what in the fuck is all of this shit?
It's worth it, is what it is. It's
yeah,
worth
we
And
were
it's-
over at your house, like loading, unloading one day, loading, unloading. We've got fucking
I'm like,
tubes and
we had all of this stuff, and I'm like, Tom, what the fuck? I'm going to Cody's to get a trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, well, we need another trailer. Cody's like, I have one. You can have it. Here, take it. So it's full. It is full of all of y'all's requests. Everything that you sent him, he was like, we need this and we need that. I do not understand any of that, so that's fine. Whatever. I just told Cody specifically, this is what I want to happen without flaw. And the adding, which I kind of talked a little bit behind the scenes last night with you, Ty, adding in this thing that's going to happen that I'm going to make happen.
So you're not going to announce it right now, right?
No, because if for some reason something weird happens that it doesn't come through, but I've talked to so many. Cody has met some folks through his hunting stuff that he does, and veterans. So in one day, I managed to talk to a fighter pilot, a commercial airline pilot. I don't remember what Dre does, but he's something important to do with the FAA. I talked to the director of the FAA out of Houston, Morgan Luttrell, and between all of those people, managed to get the form filled out and submitted for whatever the FAA has to do, just to get the approval then for it to be posted to the squadron, for then the military to say, okay, yes, we'll take this on. But without him, I mean, I don't think that would have happened. He just had these contacts that he's made that I was able to navigate in a matter of, what, 6 hours, Cody? Maybe?
Yeah, probably maybe 6 hours. It
Yeah,
moved
I
quick.
mean, and it happened because
Definitely
the Dre guy was in Washington at a conference or something, and was able to have, obviously all the heads that were there, and they got together and said, okay, call this person, do this. The fighter pilot guy called me immediately, and he's like, here's what you need to put on that form and what you need to say and don't say. The challenge now, after it gets approved by the military, you have to have a recommendation, which is going to come from Morgan, and then from the VFW. Then they will proceed on, and you have to, I guess the biggest challenge is a squadron to pick it up. And so that's where Morgan and Marcus are going to come in, knowing the people that they know, to have a squadron come in and do it. So
who from the VFW do you need to talk to?
So I already have it. The letter has to come from Dennis. I already typed it up anyway, and I'm like, sign this.
Nice.
Because I don't know if you know or not, I'm working there officially, like 20, 25 hours a week. I'm the official secretary and the webmaster and the VFW, because I can't say no.
There you go.
And let me tell you, I mean, guys, I get it. I freaking get it. It has been a tumultuous 3 weeks. But I will say this, the roof starts next week. The plumbing, the electrical, all of the things, like, it's all moving the right direction. And it will come to fruition. Like, we're actually going to see it happen finally. So
Right.
I'm excited about that. I mean, it's a lot. And the new quartermaster is, he's tough. He's a very old, grumpy vet, but he's very by the book. And I think that's what we needed to really get things, in that position. Like, he dots his I's and crosses his T's, and he is very legit. Last week, actually got like an actual accountant that's going to be doing the books. Obviously, he has his portion he has to do, but someone that's been vetted and is actually a professional, not just the random person in there deciding to do things. It's turning around, and I'm excited about it. The last business meeting, there were 19 people that came that hadn't been in 4 or 5 years. So
Very, very nice.
Very cool.
it is, and we hope that I understand the situation that happened before, and I had told them before, under no certain circumstances, if 2 of the previous commanders had anything to do with what was going on, I wouldn't be there. And so neither of those 2 are involved in any shape, form, or fashion. So that's exciting. And getting things, I probably would have had the same reaction that you had, Ty, with certain folks. And I
Well,
put my foot down. I put my foot down day before yesterday and said, you will not speak to me that way. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The thing is the VFW saved my life in a different way. You know, it was just a tribe to be around, but they tried to get me in there to do things, and I'm very up in your face if you say something stupid. So I was not the right guy to be the quartermaster. But that's the thing, is they need somebody in there that's just like, I know the law, I know how to get this beverage license, I know how to at least accountant to calculate the taxes that we pay on the mixed drinks, on the beer. So they need someone in there, not chaos like me, which was a stopgap, because they keep blaming all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm glad.
It's every person. I've heard every name back to who knows when, and I'm like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who did what then. We've got to fix it now. So,
I know there's a district election coming up this weekend. So on Saturday, the new district leadership. So get out there and get involved, like we were talking about earlier. You can learn Robert's rules of for parliamentary proceedings when going to the VFW. It'll give you some decorum to get into local legislature, veteran legislature. Very, very much you as a promoter for the Danny Dietz specifically, you have to get litigation done to get those state championships. So you're always talking to politicians. What has been the biggest benefit for you that you've seen directly from the cook-off itself, the Danny Dietz cook-off? What has it done for the Cooks one and the foundation too?
Cooks, it is camaraderie. It's what everybody loves to come to it. I've said, some previous people that are involved have said it before too. It's one of those things that when you get there, the whole tone just changes. Like you have an appreciation, and I think that comes from us spending the time to evoke a feeling, like to get people involved and to understand what Operation Red Wings was, who Danny was, and mostly what we're there for, what money that we're there to raise for. You know, I dumb it down for a lot of people, and I just say we raise grants for PTSD treatment that's not covered by veterans benefits or traditional health insurance. And that's the broad scope of it, but there's a lot of things that we raise money for that we don't talk about. I think one of the biggest ones that was impactful to me when I first started was there was a Gold Star wife. You know, they say everybody's there for you in the beginning, and I guess it had been probably 6 years since her husband was killed. And she couldn't pay her taxes, and she was about to lose her house. And so she reached out and said, hey, you know, I'm at a point of, we're going to be homeless. And there was nobody else around at that point. You know, all the new and shiny had worn off. And so we were able to write a check to help her pay the taxes and keep her house. And so it's little things like that. And we're refocusing a little bit of what we're providing for. We're changing our bylaws. We've run across things, you know, when bylaws are written, which you were referring to earlier, you know, Robert's Rules of Order and the way things are very specific. And 501c3s, your bylaws are written to protect you, but they're also written to protect the money. And so when you write bylaws, that becomes the law and how you can spend those funds. And one of our bylaws actually says that we can't spend money other than first responders, special warfare operators, or Gold Stars. And so we had a situation come up. Cody, I don't know, how long ago was that? 6-8 months, maybe?
Yeah, probably. I know it was cold out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not have been that
It
long.
wasn't that long ago. Yeah, if it was cold,
No,
it was
probably
February, right?
February. Yeah.
So we had a situation with a veteran that came up that it was April. I know it was April because we were it was the week we were getting ready for the cook-off for the spring fling, and went up there because we had to mow. Went up there, and there was a guy asleep on the porch. And Tom called me, and he was like, hey, this guy's not in a good place. I don't know what's going on, but he ended up here. He hitchhiked and then got a ride. Was a member of the post, but his world had just fallen apart, long story short. And he had nothing, no phone, had the clothes on his back, had his driver's license, social security card, and that was it. And it was raining. I remember that night before it had stormed, and it was cold. It was like 40, I think was what it was that day. So I reached out immediately, obviously, to the VFW, and they kept referring me to that whatever guy, who turns out wasn't even the service officer at the time. He had been kind of MIA. But there was no one there. No one could facilitate or help. So I reached out to Danny Dietz, and that's when I actually learned, which I didn't know, our bylaws kept us from giving funds other than those 3 actual things. So Tom and I put him in a hotel for 2 nights until we got in touch with Camp Hope and got him to Camp Hope to get him help. But that being said, we're rewording the bylaws because, as Cody and I discussed, we had reached a point to where there's an immediate need, and we would like to be able to address that through the foundation as well. We are blessed in the fact that up until 80 days ago, we had no wartime, no active wars going on. Of course, there's casualties and training exercises and things that happen, but no wartime and no major loss of life for the type of thing for special warfare operators. And so it's allowed us the opportunity to reevaluate and say, okay, where can this money now be filtered over to, and what's going to be more impactful? And that's what we've realized is the immediate need to get somebody off the street, to give them a hotel room,
Yeah.
to give them a burner phone. I'm not going to call it a burner phone. Sorry.
Burner
Give them a phone.
phone, yeah.
Give them a burner phone.
Temporary phone.
Yeah, you're helping. That's
But give them a prepaid phone, so that they can have a list to say, okay, here is, the phone numbers that we're going to help you work through and get you in contact of whatever your needs may be. They're so different. But Cody and I were equally fired up about that. And that's kind of led to another project that we might get involved in because, we don't know how to say no.
Don't sleep. Might as well.
Might as well, right? Like, I mean, not serving. I didn't serve. My grandpa served. My dad served. My dad did the required and then became National Guard. My grandpa was in World War II. But other than that, nobody in my family was first responders or military. So my volunteer heart belongs to veterans. And so that's what we're focusing on, and that's what we're going to do. So that being said, lost all of that to come back to say that the Danny Dietz raises money, and that's our goal, right? We want to truly impact a veteran's life. And we just found little niches.
Testimonial, being around Tom since I got out in 2017 has done amazing things for me, just how dedicated he was to the Tomball VFW. And then, meeting you and the involvement you had with special operations. These men and women were always our heroes, special operations, and the Navy SEALs specifically, that's the upper echelon of the 1%. And just to see say it again.
So that's what they say anyway.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Those are always our heroes, and I love how you pay homage to them. The event, I made it a point to the group that we had last year to just convey the reverence that one should have for these men that they may come in contact with during that weekend. That to be a part of that was a huge honor for me, and I appreciate you and Cody. I've met some amazing people in barbecue, and I can't wait to bring my boy Matt Johnson, Al Hero back, and then bring in a new group that can go spread the barbecue culture. And I think we got them coming from Colorado. We got them coming from Florida.
Colorado, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah, we got people coming from all around. And you bring in a highly revered sanctioning body, KCBS, to Texas for the barbecue culture, one, is amazing. And then for two, for the Danny Dietz specifically and what that means, that's amazing as well. We're from Texas. We all know the lone survivor story, but Danny Dietz was part of Marcus Luttrell's team, And so Marcus Luttrell, of course, is the only one that made it out for the audience that don't know that. But yeah, the reverence for that event. Thank you so much for putting it together. And what made you change from Danny Dietz Memorial Classic to Danny Dietz World Championship? Wax poetic about that for me.
So the classic, I'm not sure, who was involved back in the day, but up until COVID, both the classic and the cook-off were held on the same weekend at Fort Bend County. And COVID, whatever, all the nonsense that happened with that was actually a blessing when it came to the foundation that we were able to split. So the cook-off community that was there wasn't able to join in with the roping community. It was a very separate type situation. So when that happened, we were like, okay, you guys go find your venue, we'll go find our venue. And we were able to split and create two fundraisers because those are two very different groups of people, two very different groups, demographics. So we were able to cover more and raise more money. That being said, the classic has always referred to that weekend, and it refers to the roping. And so we had been looking for an opportunity to kind of change the name for the cook-off. But one of the things that I refused to do was change it to a world championship until we had a team that was off the North American, South American continent. Because in my mind, if you're a world, you've got to be across the pond, right? You got to fly over a major ocean to go to a different continent in order to classify it as a world. And we've done that this year. We have New Zealand coming in to participate. And we are stoked about that.
Me too. Can't wait to hang out with those boys.
Oh my God. Don't even try. Do not even try.
I said hang out, not drink. That's all I said.
Yeah. Ask Tom. Don't even try.
Pretty soon, we're gonna have to have a new mayor of the International Village, Tom Clark.
I don't know if y'all could hear me. I lost y'all sound again.
Log off.
I can hear everyone but Ty.
Oh,
that sucks.
Log off, log back on. Just pop in, pop
there you
out.
go. That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
All right, I'll be back.
What were you saying, Ty? I'm sorry. Who's the new mayor?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Pretty soon, you're going to have an International Village at the Danny Dietz, and then, of course, Tom Clark's going to be the mayor of International Village.
The ambassador.
Yeah, the ambassador.
Yeah, because
the State
you
Department.
give him enough Coors Light, he can speak all the languages he thinks.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
It is fun as hell getting together with Tom Clark and Waxing Poetic and the way that you make the veterans that we brought in years past, me being one of them a couple years ago, and then Al last year. It's amazing the VIP treatment you give. So I can't thank you enough for that. And then just the VIP dinner that you guys put on for all the sponsors. It's amazing. And all the touches. I know how good that food is that is cooked out there by those World Championship cooks. And so for me, for one, I'm a little biased, but I'm glad you're calling it a World Championship because, let's bring more and more nations in here.
It's going to be a World Championship tailgate on Thursday night. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Okay, so when does registration start? What time exactly?
9 a.m. tomorrow it opens. My fancy assistant guy, he's good at that stuff. He has it set, ready to go. Got the times done. I see Kinsey back there.
In the background.
I see Kinsey back there.
Sorry, kids are just.
Roll Tide.
She said roll Tide. Oh, she butted out. Dang kids.
She's hilarious. So she's going to be our.
She saw cameras and she was like, "Let's go." I'm ready.
Tell them the story, Cody. What she said about the 50-50 tickets. I was dying. This kid's hilarious.
Okay. So she's been wanting to get involved with the foundation, doing stuff, right? So last year she was supposed to sell 50-50 tickets. Got distracted by the swimming stuff, right? The lazy river and all that. So this year we're leaving softball practice on Monday. And she's like, "Hey, how can I help this year?" And I was like, "Well, I'll ask Jen." Jen hits me back and is like, "Hey, 50-50 tickets." I was like, "Cool." So I told her, right? I was like, "Right around, sell 50-50 tickets." She goes, "I'll only do it if I can have a bodyguard. Since we're going to be raising all these thousands of dollars, I need a bodyguard. But can I carry a gun with me?" I was like, "You know what? Sure. Like she just
It's going to
let
say
me carry a
Nerf
gun
on the
and I'm
side of
good.
it, but you can carry the gun. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
We're not a single
she's
bullet
down.
in it, but you got it.
I need an armored up golf cart. It's got to
Yeah.
be like wrapped around on all sides.
She said she's going to make thousands of dollars, so she needs
Thousands of
protection.
dollars. Yeah.
Ooh, she better
Yep.
start inviting all her friends, you know?
She's ready.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have the website on the screen here. We appreciate you coming up and talking about it. We can't wait to come out and be a part of it this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Lee and Cody Gill with the Danny Dietz World Championship now. And the registration opens tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yep. Right.
I don't know if you could hear when she said that, but she said her cyber guru.
Oh gosh, it's been a battle trying to make sure everything's right with it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. I hope it all works in the morning.
Someone's still going to complain, bro. It's going to happen. Just be
Yeah.
ready for that. That what do they call that? Your customer support voice. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling
Yeah.
the Danny Dietz Memorial
Yeah.
Foundation sign up.
How about
line. How may I
you?
help you today?
Hi, this is
I'll
Jen.
be
How may I
Oh.
help you?
Tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am just an AI that's here to help you get through the process. If you would like, you can leave a message at the beep and we will get back to you. Beep. And you record. Dude, you're good, bro. Just do that. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Ty, I want you to ask Cody that question, though, about how he got involved and what it means to him.
Oh yeah. So Cody, did you serve?
I did not. No. No,
Okay,
my
so-
grandfather served.
Wax poetic about how you came to respect the military, love America, and like what our guest earlier talked about is just civic renewal. You are a 100% go if everything you do. How did you get involved with Jen, and then how did you get involved with the Danny Dietz?
So actually I've been around the foundation for this is what year 21, Jen. So I know for sure 11 years I've been around the foundation and its event back when it was in Fort Bend County at the fairgrounds and stuff. Where our family business is based out of Fort Bend County. We work all over the Houston area, but because it was close, a friend of mine named Chad, he's on the board with the foundation, and he started, fundraising and all that's going on for the foundation. And he stops by the office one day and he's like, "Hey, we're looking for sponsors for the event. Do y'all want to help out, whatever?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure. We'll sponsor. We'll buy a table at the kickoff party." Back then, it was at the Redneck Country Club in Stafford. So Friday night kickoff party. There's live music. There's an auction. There's cook-off on Saturday. There's a car show. There's a rodeo. There's more live music. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm not big on the competition side. I can't compete in any of those things, but I'm pretty good at winning live auctions. So that's where I was like, yeah, I'm in for that. So we started going to those at least 11 years ago. And I only know that for a fact because at the 10-year anniversary of Operation Red Wings, I won in the live auction the 20th anniversary AR gun at that time. So which actually I think we raffled it off last year. But so I know for sure at least 11 years I've been around the foundation and stuff. But from that point, I had old cars, so we'd go to the car show, hang out, and all that stuff with our car club. And then one night, my brother and I, we were doing a different kind of not a fundraiser. There was a hurricane in East Texas, and we were throwing a bunch of stuff together. We borrowed a cooking trailer from somebody his father-in-law knows, and they bring it to the shop. We cook 20-some briskets. We're going to drive to East Texas, start handing out sandwiches, right? And when we're standing there, we're very impulsive people. If you've ever met me, spent any time around me, you'll know that. And my brother's very much the same way. So we're standing there cooking these briskets. It's 4:00 in the morning or something. We're like, we need one of these. We don't have one. We got any other kind of trailer, but we don't have a cooking trailer. I'm like, all right. So we bought it from the guy we were borrowing it from. And from that point on, we had a cooking team, right? And we're like, we'll cook the Danny Dietz one. We'll cook other ones, but for sure we're gonna cook the Danny Dietz cook-off every year. We enjoy going to it, so like perfect, right? So we cook it the first year on the smoker, when it was at the Renaissance grounds and got dead last. Every category, all across the board. It was a great time. It was awesome.
Great time.
I don't remember much. Um, if you know me now, I don't drink no more. And if you knew me then, you'd understand why I don't drink no more. Um, because it was pretty wild. But we enjoyed it, had a good time. Met Jen at that trip out there. Started saying, "Hey, how can we help? Whatever." At that point, we were just like, "Help move heavy things. I got you. Dumb labor is me." And so kind of started working, helping a little bit at that point. The next year, back at Renaissance Grounds, dragged the trailer out there. I think we finished like third to last in every category. So there's progress, but we realized,
Improvement.
hey, this might not be for us. So next
They
year,
tried. They really tried.
yeah. We gave it a solid effort.
I don't
we
feel
were
good
there.
about our chances this year. But go ahead, bro.
Well, I'll be honest. Like I think our team name was Low Expectations, and I mean
It
that
was.
just sums up
You lived up to
why
it.
we were there. Yeah, like that sums up. We were just there existing. Our fire got started on time, and that was the biggest thing. Our goals were fire started on time, and don't miss a turn in. And we didn't. We were good. So that was our goals. So the next year rolls around, and that's the first year in Waller, and we decided, hey, we're not waking up to start a fire. We're not doing any of that. We're gonna roll Traegers. We'll be those guys. I don't really care. And we're getting more involved at that point with helping shuttle people to their camp spots, their all that, help get people directed towards turn-ins and all that. And we cooked, but we didn't care. We spent more time away doing things than we were prepping our food and all that, right? So we didn't really care for the cook-off aspect of it. We were going to win something in the live auction. We knew that. And then after that, we were like, forget cooking. Like, it's not worth. We already get little sleep as it is, so stop stressing about the cooking aspect and just. We told Jen both, like, hey, what do you want us to do? And then you don't have to worry about it. Just tell us what you want done, how you want it done. If you don't care how you want it done, just know it'll get done. And away we went. And from that point on, it's just been get there 2 days early. Whatever you need, Jen, tell me. Give me a list and don't worry about these things. And it slowly turned into now the whole stage I get to kind of put together and be a part of. And Ty makes me sound like some genius guru. I'm just telling you, it's ADD is a superpower when you can hone it in and point it in a direction and keep it between the lines. And I'm
That's
just
right.
look, man, if you don't know how to do it, have a friend that does and be able to call them or Google it, learn how to use Google and ask questions. I'm really good at asking questions. And so that's kind of how that turned into it. Now, the reason the foundation means so much to me, I keep a picture of my grandfather here in my home office, right? Don't mind the mess behind me. That laundry basket's full of ball caps. But this is my grandfather. I don't know if y'all can see any of that.
Yeah.
But
Chief Petty
he-
Officer.
he served until he retired. Served with all kinds of different people. Did a lot. And he also ordained minister after he retired. He preached in prisons and all of that. But that's the guy. Like that's why the foundation means what it does to me. I did not serve. I have a respect for everyone that does, and I can't say that I understand everything you've gone through or any of that, but I'm very much one that you could call it a drop of a hat. Whatever you need, I got you. Whatever, right? And because of him, that's why I am the way I am with the foundation. That leads me to man, my ADD goes into all different directions on how I help different groups and all that. And I don't know if y'all want me to get into all that or not because that's a whole rabbit hole. But in short, that guy is the reason the foundation means what it does to me, and why I've got no problem just, hey Jen, you need these done? Okay, cool. Hey, go to this tent over here. They need help moving coolers around. They need to set up their tables, throw a pop-up together. They need to back in a trailer for them. Like whatever. Like I'm there to just help. And I'm strong in my faith. I'm a Christian, and we're called to be the hands and feet of God. So if somebody needs it and I can help, I'm going to.
My man. Yeah, it was a joy getting to sit down. You know, my military grade level of ADHD, and normally whenever I go to like kind of interject with someone else, it didn't go well with the I think the Houston AAA team. I didn't like their director of public relations. You know, the way they handle things, but the way Cody handles things on a scale that he can handle them and have 10 different conversations going on, and you can just see it working. Pleasure to work with, man. And
I appreciate that.
I'm not easily impressed by people's ability to, for lack of a better term, multitask, switch a precise focus and knowledge of certain things. And that's exactly what you need to make the Danny Dietz World Championship into what it is. Jen, talk about, if you don't mind,
to be able to
$1 payout.
understand where my mind goes, he has to be able to do that.
He's got a lot of good Navy chief mentorship under his belt from his grandfather. So all I'm saying is that Navy chief mentorship is, we're good at ADHD handling,
Make me play this.
All right.
I knew we'd get the video at some point today.
So Cody, Ty says last night, I talked to him, we were in the back, like in the green room, I guess, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling him about what we're trying to plan. And he's like, oh man, you should get like Chinooks. And I'm like, bro, there wouldn't be anything left standing anywhere.
No.
Trees barren, like it would be a huge disaster. And Ty's like,
they were going to try and basically land right there on the bouncy house. I mean, that's,
yeah. Ty was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, I don't think we got to think about it would be, but there wouldn't be a damn thing left when they came through. So
they're professionals. They can do it.
We'd all be blind, dirt in our eyes, air everywhere. Like,
not me.
I was going to say, we know a badass mortgage loan officer that was a 160th SOAR pilot. Fly big windy in there, I'm sure. Daniel Archer, if you're listening.
Yeah. So yeah, and if anybody's listening that knows anybody that's in a current squadron that can, that's, like I said, one of the big things is that evidently there's like a posting board that once the DD 2535 gets approved, it just goes up there. And a squadron has to say, yes, we will do that event. So if there's anyone active or knows anyone who's active, who's part of a squadron, we need them. Or September 12th.
Connect you with someone
you've done a lot of
tonight.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of hinting around on the podcast with it. I'll be honest. If they haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
But
no,
I don't think there's a lot of cooks don't watch this when this is a
You still can't say it.
But
yeah, I'm still not going to say it.
In there.
Okay. I mean, I was going to push. I mean, who knows?
I'm just saying, I need a squadron.
I have someone for you, Jen. I will send you a message with a number tonight when we get off. Make that call, and you'll probably be surprised at how fast you can make it happen once the thing gets done. I think we can help out for
fantastic.
Sure.
Praise the Lord. Like
that would be awesome.
And I think, Cody and I was watching the Alabama hype video that dropped, Roll Tide. And as it started, when it started playing and they had the flyover go over, and I was like, man, that would be freaking cool. Like that, no cook-off has ever had one in Texas. Cody looked it up.
Yep.
According to his
resources,
Chat GPT Bible, one happened in 21 and 23. One was in Colorado. One was in Arkansas. There's never been one in Texas. Even the Motor Speedway one they didn't have one.
Never been one on a standalone cook-off either.
Yeah, and never been one at a standalone. It's always been associated with another event. So we would be a first.
Well, let's go. We're gonna make it happen.
Talking about.
And I just am so excited. Like that's one of those things that, you know, I guess in your mind of mind, you think that's going to cost millions of dollars, right? And I didn't realize that the first thing that says on that form when you get to it, it's like, no, this is free. It's a training exercise.
Yep, we got to get some hours in anyway.
Gotta get the hours.
Thank you for my tax dollars, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, so awesome.
Best money ever spent.
Best money
Yes.
ever spent. Put me in a
Yes,
higher
ma'am.
tax bracket if that's what it takes. Like I'm in.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
excited about it.
Well, I think Ty had asked you a question too right before we got into that.
Oh, I'm
part.
sorry.
If you want to ask again, Ty. I think you were talking about.
Yeah,
payout.
talk about, you know, there's to talk about taking care of the cookers, the purses, the amount of money these people spend that are out there just basically spending at least $1,500, probably more now, $2,000 because of fuel prices and everything each week. Talk about the $50,000 payout that you got for the Danny Dietz. I mean, that's amazing. That doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't, especially in KCBS. You know, there's a lot of Texas cook-offs that have serious purses, but KCBS, I remember the first year that we did this, and I called Cody and told him, I said, I submitted the paperwork when we raised the pay. And they called me back and they were like, oh, hey, there's an error. We need you to fix this and send it back. And I'm like, what's the error? She's like, I think you added an extra zero. And I'm like, nope, that's right. So you're paying $50,000. And I said, yes, ma'am. And Cody and I have negotiated away over, what is this, our sixth year, Cody?
Yeah.
Our sixth year? Yeah, sixth
Yeah.
year. We finally figured out the nuances of raising money. And little dollars make big dollars, right? So we always shoot for a title sponsor. We would love to have a title sponsor. We would love to have a big corporation, but it takes time. It takes time to get the name of the cook-off set and for them to see their return on certain things. And so big businesses that we have sponsors, HEB, they go up incrementally every year. They went up more this year. And we always look for sponsors, but what we've determined is it's a lot easier to go to somebody and say, hey, can you sponsor $750 versus give me $20,000?
Yeah.
And so we just chip away. We chip away at people and we categorize all the places and we just try to get a sponsor for each one of those places. And that allows us to pay the $50,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Grassroots.
So-
Keep it in the community.
It is. It really is
Yeah.
grassroots. And it's a lot of freaking hard work. I mean, Cody and Matt, they spend so much time. You know, we're blessed in the fact that the industry that they're in and the hobbies that they know a lot of people. And those people have generous giving hearts as well. And so they've been huge supporters. And you know, I spend a lot of time just emails after email after email. You know, I think they say in the marketing world, Matt, you can probably tell me, you know, for every 50 you send out, you might get a maybe. For every 100 you send out, you might get a yes. And so it takes so much time just to verbally vomit all this stuff out of a list to say, this is who I need to send it to. We have a spreadsheet. We go in and we update it, and we just constantly are adding people to it to say, and our minds just work that way. We'll be talking, and all of a sudden I'll go, oh, what about so-and-so? And he'll go, oh, what about so-and-so? And then we just start adding them to the list to get contacts. And, you know, in all reality, it just takes one big money sponsor. And once people see that those people are supporting you, it just kind of becomes a snowball effect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sales 101. It's going to take 1,000.
It really
hours to
is,
get
you
one
know.
yes, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Especially
so
in
we-
something like that. Everybody seems to think they don't have any money to give or donate, because when you come ask them, you know, the Danny Dietz and stuff, oh, you know, we already did our budget for the
we
year in
spent our
the first
marketing
quarter.
money.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna come see you in January. Oh, it's a little bit earlier. Like, just tell me you don't want to, and I'll move on.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I'll
Just
move on.
give me
up
the
the
hard
list.
no, and I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Right? But we're gonna charge you more when you come back and you see how everybody else is sponsored, right? Because that's exactly what I would say.
Oh yeah, we have a list.
for
Yeah,
sure.
like, and if they ever come back, guess what? This costs you this much money.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you know,
But yeah,
it's
I love that you guys go smaller amounts though, because now you have a lot of people that feel involved in like making a difference, right? Like it's again,
Oh,
a
absolutely.
community driven thing. That's what I notice every time we go out to the Danny Dietz, is like all the families that are out there, the kids are playing, they're in the playgrounds, they're running around, everybody's, you know, talking and socializing, and it's a good time, right? Like you would, if you didn't know there was a cook-off that weekend, you'd be like, man, that's a lot of people that like each other hanging out. You know what I mean? They're all barbecuing, but it's a competition. You know what I mean? And I think it's very hard to make something look like that simple. Is probably a bad description, but that's simple. But it's a big deal. You know what I mean? It just goes off without a hitch.
It's very stressful. I don't handle stress well. When something goes wrong, in my mind, it's personified 1,000 times. It's a huge disaster. I can't believe that happened. Matt and Cody both. Matt is my, I don't know, what do you call him? He's just my go-to guy.
Yeah.
That's Cody's brother. He rides with me. He keeps me calm. He's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, Tom, y'all know Tom. Tom is just as highly stressed when things, he's very regimented. You would think he was in the military. He's very regimented when it comes to the way his expectations are just as high. And if he sees that I'm upset, he gets upset. Ty sees that I'm upset, Ty gets upset. So Matt does a good job at calming me down to say, hey, it's not a big deal. Nobody knows but you. So just push on. We'll get that fixed, or we'll do it better next year. But it's a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure to, you know, you figure, just say we have 100 teams. That's typically minimum of 400 people, just cook team involved. That's not their families. That's not their friends. That's not everybody else that comes out. So that's 400 people that you are making sure feel welcome, feel like they're getting their money's worth, understand the mission of what we're there for, and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
I know that you get stressed, Jen, and I understand that, but you would, nobody that's out there that walks around would ever know that. They wouldn't. They honestly wouldn't. When you're up, you're always smiling, you're happy. How are you doing? Is everything good? What can we do for you? Now, I'm sure when you walk away, you're like, what the you know what I mean? But in front of everybody, like you guys do such a bang up job of like knowing who they are too, right? I'm sure you guys have a list like, which one? Okay, we got to make sure we know who these people are. This is where they're from. This is how they came out, you know, and just the appreciation. It's awesome. You guys do great.
Right. I'll tell you, for me, from the outside, right? I'm not in the barbecue industry. I'm not in any of that, right? And Jen has been in it forever. Tom's been in it forever. Like, they know a vehicle's pulling in with a camper behind it, and they're like, "Oh, that's so and so. Their spot 192." I'm like, "How do you know their license plate?" Like, I don't get it. But they know everybody, and that's been like great for me.
Community, and they're all branded. So
and like they just know everybody, and everybody that pulls in, you know, I shake their hand. I'm awful with names. Like I'll hear you say it 10 times, and that's great. I'm glad you told me, but it's probably useless. And
he nicknames people. He's like, you know, that guy over there with the big nose, and I'm like, that's so and so.
Yeah, but that's how it clicks for me. And then, like, through the years that I've been helping, I'm slowly remembering who's who, and UGC last year, or you got 7th Ribs, and like it's starting to click for me on who everybody is. But it's so cool how welcoming the community is. Now, I've done smaller cook-offs and whatever, and I've seen how those have gone and been part of them from the cooking aspect. But for the most part, the cooking community is very open and friendly for the most part, right? I mean, I get along with just about anybody. I'll sit there and talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. I don't really care. But they've like brought me in, like I've been doing this forever too, and that ain't the case. I'm just a helper. Like I'm just there, you know.
Here's the key, Cody. If you act like you're supposed to be there and that you've been there forever, nobody's going to know the difference if you don't tell them, because for some of those people, if it's their first time out there and you just have an answer, they're like, man, you're really good. You're like, well, go over there and do that.
Appreciate you.
Fake it till you make it, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That's all you got to do.
I'm all about confidence to the point of get me somewhere.
Absolutely.
Hey.
I'll tell you this, on the So Smoking Gooder show, they talk about like the best events. You guys get talked about all the time just for the hospitality, for how in the last couple of years it's just going straight up. There's all kinds of consternation between the sanctioning bodies, but just like you said, when you get to the Danny Dietz at the Yellowstone or the Jellystone RV park and all the amenities and everything they have, and then the way you all put on the event, like it's apparent to the Gooder gang, that this event is. It's amazing that we have KCBS here. It's amazing what the cook-off is for, and then the hospitality and reverence you guys show for the VIPs that we've brought for the last couple of years has been amazing. That's so hats off to you, world-class team. I loved working with you guys for the last couple of years. This year, well, I'm not going to be working with you because I can't be in on the inner secrets because we're going to be cooking. But
unless it's Al's dad kicking Marcus Luttrell out of a trailer.
That is the best story on the planet, dude.
Did you hear that story, Cody?
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I'm trying
I
to fix
agree.
the light so y'all can see me.
It's
But,
so
Whoa,
crazy.
ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Al
I'm
Senior
gonna
was
turn the
like,
actual light on.
who's whatever? You guys are busy. He's like, what?
We're busy right now. Get out.
Yeah. And Al was like, oh my God. But what's crazy is Al was like, Marcus came out, was like, no, it's cool, man. You guys were busy. And they're like, we were.
Marcus was fine. He
Al's
was
dad was like-
unaffected.
Y'all told me don't let nobody in here.
Yeah, Marcus was unaffected. He was like, no, they're busy. I get it. It's fine. I said, because I told him, I said, man, you showed up at comp time. You showed up at turn-in time. Like, that is the worst time to possibly show up. He's like, no, it's fine. No big deal.
Yeah,
The old man said, you ain't getting in here. Get away.
And he was
not
just like,
allowed.
because Al said that like he went and answered the door and he was like, hey, I was coming to say hi. And then Al's dad asked like, oh, who are you? He was like, hey man, you're gonna have to come back. They're busy. And then he walks in and Al was like, who's that? He was like, oh, it was just some guy standing at the door. Like, but who was it? He's like, some guy named Marcus Luttrell. Al was like, what the he's like, what are you doing? Dude, it was so funny.
Some guy named Marcus Luttrell.
Yeah, his dad was
some
like,
guy.
what do you want me to do? I was like, oh my God, dude, you were in the Navy. Like, you just sinned, bro. Like, you were in the Navy.
so this is
He's like, don't make a shit to me. He's just a soldier like me.
Yeah,
Al's food looked good last year. I mean, that food looks pretty good. The chicken's got a little bit of the black spot.
Bro, those
But man,
freaking burnt ends. Oh my God.
were they really good?
Oh my God.
At this point,
They were
I
so
remember
good.
the chicken being amazing when I ate it, and then I don't know where exactly they scored. I think they were 11th or something like that.
They were so freaking good. It was those amazing.
All I
Amazing.
know is that Al's first time to cook was the Danny Dietz last year. And I don't know if you remember or you'd seen the podcast. Al was talking so much shit, dude. We're going to go in there and do this. And we were like, bro, I'm telling you, he's
You ain't doing shit, bro. Sit down.
He's practicing every day right now.
So
every
Carlos said he bought a gateway, and Carlos is like every day he's texting me like 5, 6, 7 times a day. Like he is on this. He is hooked.
Al's a nerd,
He is
dude. He bought a
serious.
gateway and put a chief anchor on the fucking grill grate. What a dork.
No, he did not.
I
Did
swear
he
to God.
really?
Yes. Put a chief anchor on the grill gate. Like, bro, you retired as a senior chief. At least you could have done is put a star on that thing, dude. You know what I mean? Whatever. I mean, he's in the club. You know what I mean? In the club.
Yeah, they did that. They were so much fun. I mean, they probably would have been a little better, maybe had they not got so intoxicated Friday night. But hats off to them, because Sunday morning, Tom was still sleeping. Jen was up at 7 o'clock like a trooper, cleaning shit up, putting things away.
Yeah, he told the story. He left all his stuff in my truck or at y'all's campsite or something.
Yeah, he let it at the campsite.
Yeah, I was out there listening to Metallica at like midnight, and they had to come get me. But yeah, he left all his stuff. He got back early in the morning to take off on the 14-hour trip back home, and Jen was already up and had half the shit done. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Tom's in there snoring. So we had this generator that I could have kicked Carlos in the ass. We let him borrow it. He could have brought it back over, but no, he just leaves it. So I said, hey guys, if y'all wouldn't mind, I can't carry that. If y'all could bring it back. Well, I didn't know his brother-in-law broke his damn ribs. He didn't tell me that. So this fool's over there like, carrying it back. I'm like, are you okay? They get it back, drop it off. He's like, yeah, I think I broke my ribs last night. I'm like, what happened? I fell in the shower. Fell in the shower. I was like,
They don't even remember getting home the night from after Tom and I were getting them drunk. They don't even remember getting back to their hotel.
Wasn't it the three amigos in the same Uber?
Yeah,
exactly.
I took them
And they
two
don't
home.
remember.
Yeah, them two don't remember getting home. I was
They
fine.
thought Ty drove them home.
Yeah, they had no
Well,
idea.
no, when I came back, because Tom was going to kill me for sharing this story, but when I went in the camper after everything was cleaned up, locked up, Mr. Butt-ass Naked is spread like this across the bed, like every inch of it, and Boomer's next to him. And I'm like, what? Where am I supposed to sleep? Like, hello? He wasn't moving. I was like, fine, whatever. I'm going home because, we live right down the street. So I hopped on the side by side and I drove home and slept. And when I came back, he still hadn't moved, but Ty's truck was there. So I was like, oh, all three of them got in that Uber? And I hope it was a decent sized one because, all right.
Yeah. We
have fun, guys. Like,
I think
It
it
worked
was
out.
a car, and I remember having a hard time getting in it. So yeah, it was a small Civic, I do believe. But
that's what I was going to say. It was probably like a, size.
I mean, it's Tomball, bro. You ain't gonna get an Uber Black everywhere you go.
yeah, I've become an Uber snob. I require an Uber Black when I take an Uber.
I remember the conversation in the bar, though. They weren't paying the price.
Right.
Because it wasn't like a peak hour or anything. So it was like, I think it was Ty was like, man, it's fucking $7. We're getting this one.
Yeah.
So, and I was thinking it's
Also-
probably a Prius, like, and he's going to look like Harry and the Hendersons
Yeah.
driving to his house. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I entertained that dude, and he was happy I got out of his Uber. I probably didn't shut up the whole time.
That dude
There's
was
one
probably
thing I
like,
don't do.
I
Normally,
hope he
I'm a
remembers
Clark
to give me
Airpod.
5
Get me
stars.
drunk with Tom Clark. I'm waxing poetic the whole fucking night for show.
Nice.
I was fucked up.
Well, I
It
tell
was
you
fun,
what, Jen, when we go to the Danny Dietz and on that Thursday night, like we need to come hang out with you guys because apparently there is a special edition bottle of Jack I was supposed to come see you guys for.
I have it.
So-
It's right over here. Yes, sir.
What better way to drink that than to do it at the Danny Dietz? How about that?
So I am, we are going to move in on Wednesday because by God, and I told Cody, I'm getting in that damn pool. And I prefer to get in it before it turns into a toilet. So Wednesday, I'm going to float around and relax and enjoy. And I may drink on Wednesday. I will not be drinking Thursday, Friday night because I may have gotten drunk last Friday.
Not even one shot, dude.
Oh,
I don't drink whiskey. I'm not allowed brown water.
Can you smell it?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I can smell it, but I don't drink brown water. Brown water, no good for Jennifer.
Oh, enough said.
So yeah, no good for Jennifer. So Friday night, I may have drank too much, and then I decided I
That's
wanted.
all
Slightly.
into the interpretation of who may.
According
have.
to
When you
this
say may
guy,
have,
I drank
that
too much.
also that also means I may or may not have like not driven home last night. I may or may not have, been.
I don't know. They told me I had to go to bed,
when you
Matt.
Came in.
They told me I had to go to bed. Like they were like, "You're going to
They
bed."
just knew
I
you
was
had to
like,
be up the next day, and you're an early riser, and they didn't want you to not get that extra sleep you needed. That's it.
They weren't appreciating my supervisory skills. I think is what was really going on.
it was
So
It went from ultra nice to bitch move.
go to bed. Like yes.
we needed her out for a little while. She needed to go get some
Oh, man.
rest, sleep it
That's
off.
funny.
Like, I'm sorry. I think I was bitching about them
Me.
kindly
It was
volunteering
It was-
volunteering at midnight to do all the kale boxes, which
Yeah.
I hope y'all have somebody doing your kale boxes. If not, I'll do them for you. But
I don't even know what you just
Boom.
said.
because
Boom.
we're not doing that service this year, so we're
No.
not doing that.
I have
So-
no idea what you're talking about. Can you enlighten
You
me
gotta
on
build.
barbecue
Do you
box?
have a picture of a kale box you can show him, Ty?
Yeah, let me get one.
So we would build the kale boxes, and we would have tons of people say they would help. And then when it came time to build,
Oh, is
kale.
that like the green stuff that goes on the bottom?
We're
Yeah.
fucked. We're not gonna win.
No, I'll do
Dude,
them
I'm
for
good.
you.
I could cook kale all day long. I'll do that shit for our team.
I will
do that
say
for our
it
team.
is
Got a
it
plate.
is way more tedious than I
It
expected
is
it to be.
very tedious, and I will
It's-
show you the trick to it. But
Oh,
so, and like I said, you get a lot of people say they're going to help, right? And then when it comes to 9, 10 o'clock, when you've got 90 boxes to build, it quickly diminishes to like 4 people. And so there's Cody, there's Matt. Who else was in there? Melanie.
Joseph was in there with us.
Poor
Joseph's
Joseph.
first year. His first year, he got thrown right into fire.
And then Drunk
There's
Jen.
no other way you'd want to be brought in, though.
You're
bro.
making people's boxes for them?
Yeah, so we did charge for that. It was $20 a box, and you would be surprised. Like 90 people. We made 90 boxes last year. But we're not doing that this year.
Fundraiser.
Well, we'll pay.
Yeah.
It made good money, but honestly, Cody and I have valued ourselves so high that that's not worth our time. Like we're at like 165, 185 an hour. And so
and with as slow as I do a kale box, it's like a 3-hour process for one. And
kale was all dried up, the gun turned to color.
Oh, no.
It was rough. It
So
was
rate
rough.
my box real quick. What do you give this, Jen?
Oh, I'd give that a 10.
Oh, shit.
I like the
yeah.
flake.
I'd eat it.
I like the pepper on it. I like the sauce. That's a good set. That's a 10.
Yeah, there's a couple right near the toes where it's not quite, the same consistency, but I do like the viscosity, as Rob likes to say. And I'd give this box a 10 too. I don't know who this
I would
is.
too.
Lucas Armstrong, shout out to you, buddy.
That's a straight 10. Yeah, he did good.
10 for sure.
I can't, man. I feel so bad about trashing Rachel's pork box last night.
You shouldn't. That's actually what makes that segment so good is the fact that
My bad, girl.
in the
She
judges,
said, I'm all trashing it. She's like,
I mean, you're a head judge for
Mine.
she should like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a
That's
new
Hey, bitch, you don't know shit about pork. Shut up. And that's why I had to be like, oh, hold up. I do.
All right. So I think we've covered everything there. So last time, when does the registration open, Jen?
9 a.m. tomorrow morning. You must be paid to actually be considered registered. Once you make payment, then the discount code for Yogi Bear will come up. And then you call and make your reservations at the park for either your RV site or your cabin.
No.
Very cool. And then Cody, if things pop up with the website, do you want me to put the email up for y'all or?
Yeah, I mean, you could email us if you want to sponsor or anything. I mean, donate any kind, we'll accept it. Whether it's
Not anything.
money,
Let's clarify.
okay, not anything. But if you want to
have an
financially
Easter.
donate, if you want to donate money, we'll take any bit of money.
We have
Now,
an Easter bees.
product wise, there's things
Yeah, it's
that
going to be
should
gun heavy
send
this year,
things.
right? For the auction.
If we can, we're working on it. We've got some people we're reaching out to on that. So we're gonna try to push heavy on the guns this year. If any contacts, if anybody's listening to any of this, and you feel like that's you, let us know because we'd love to talk to you. If you want to know more about the foundation, probably reach out to Jen. She knows a lot more about it than I do, but I'll talk to you about it. And we need those type of items. We need any kind of item somebody would want to bid on. Like, we're down for that. We've talked to a couple of people that do custom jewelry that they've done stuff for like Beyonce and whatnot.
A master's degree?
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, are you donating a master's degree? Okay, how much can we sell that for?
I mean,
Right.
that master's degree is worth dog shit. I'm talking about the thing that is directly to the left of the master's
I
degree.
see it. It's beautiful.
It is.
That's
That is
his
awesome.
wife. It's amazing. You should check her, Becky Jo Art out. If I need to calm down and just look at some art, like seriously, she is fucking talented.
Nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
no shit. I bet it'd go for. Yeah. Anyway,
He
We'll
won't go
auction it.
anywhere. That one's mine, dude.
Well, tell her to get inspired and
Yeah.
like
Whatever she wants to put on it,
whatever she
We'll
wants
sell it.
to. We
She's got a
will.
whole catalog, dude.
we'll auction
She
it
just
off.
did a Cherokee lady that she sold at an art fair a couple weeks ago, and then she
Nice.
just finished an American West Cowboy. That thing is dope. Like that Cherokee.
Oh,
girl
wow.
that sold.
That is incredible.
That is incredible.
Wow.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the unfinished Odin there, but you can see.
I got to get Becky Jo's info then and take a look.
You got Becky Jo's info, girl.
I mean, I got her info, but I need to look at her gallery.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll send you your social medias. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Her
the
socials.
Queen of Promotions and Director of Controlled Chaos, Jen Lee, and the hand of the Cody Gill. Registration opens tomorrow for the Danny Dietz World Championship. Thank you all so much for coming, and I'm sure we'll check in with you a couple more times, and we're definitely going to have to get you on when we're out there actually doing the cook. So thank you so much.
We will do our best
Cody.
not to embarrass you.
Thank y'all.
You're not going to. Tom's got you. Tom's got you. Hey, I have one thing to say though.
Yes.
Okay.
Prince is the best.
Oh
man.
Burrow. Hold on though, real quick. I do not know. I'm not gonna say it, but that only a physicist, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I should have posed the question better to a physicist. I did say MJ or Prince. So, the context of it was like he said Michael Jordan is the greatest fucking ever. I was like, you're correct. Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
He thought you meant Prince or Michael Jordan?
Because he said MJ.
That's the route he went. Yeah, I said MJ, and immediately, very scientific. When you say MJ, it resonates with them physicists. Jordan, obviously, he's the best.
Yeah.
Apples and oranges? I mean,
you can still
compare. What's your answer?
For us Neanderthals, the moment he said Prince, you'd be like, oh, he means Michael Jackson, right? But if you're a physicist, you're like, MJ, Prince. He must be talking about two of the greatest ever. My favorite greatest ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Anyway,
or that could be
how the mind works. What's your answer, Cody?
Jordan, of course, but no. No, I'm more of a Michael Jackson fan. I grew up listening to more Michael Jackson than Prince.
Dang, bro.
That's through my parents. I listen the Thriller
Tenure
album
might not
always.
even save you on this one, dude.
Your mom and dad listen to Michael Jackson?
No, but they didn't listen to Prince. He wore too tight of pants.
You know what? I'm going to even this up. We're going to allow their answers into the calculation. The physicists will understand this. Since Beth Harris turned us into a fraction, turned us into a decimal, we're going to allow those two answers to get it back. So now we'll play both.
Welcome back to the Legacy Honors. And now it's time to present our final award of the night.
And the winner is Michael Jackson.
I heard there's royalty in the room tonight. But what's a prince to a king?
Okay.
Actually,
I'm with Amy Winehouse.
I made that video like 3 weeks ago, but Prince has had a 3-week winning streak. So just to bring back to whole numbers.
Sounds like you're a Michael Jackson fan, Ty. Like you really put a lot of thought into that Michael Jackson acceptance video.
Well,
you didn't even like play.
Sides, keep it straight down the center. It's like, in my mind, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, 3 greatest ever, probably in that order. And I'm offended that people are offended that I call it that way. So for me, Prince is better than Michael Jackson. But you have a lot of people that come on here and be like, you can't even, say. Compare Prince and Michael Jackson. It's like apple and oranges, but it's I got to give MJ his props, man. He's amazing.
No, I get it.
My son was talking about his voice the other day, and I'm like, yeah, he's the greatest, but Prince is better. So
yeah, but I
liked Michael Jackson when he was little, when he was like Jackson 5.
Yeah,
little Michael Jackson.
ABC 1, 2, 3. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And then when it comes to basketball, all I hear is squeak, 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 squeak. I can't stand basketball.
You don't hear that anymore. All you hear is break, 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 because they can't make a 3-point shot except for once every 10 shots. And so you just hear nothing but the rim and the backboard going off the ball. And then every once in a while you hear the net, right? Is that
I've enjoyed watching the San Antonio team play during this playoff. So it's been fun. The different way they play and where the shots they shoot from, it's crazy.
Just get football started already.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jen Lee and Cody Gill, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Love you guys. See you soon.
A lot of fun there. Well, that went a lot longer than we normally go, but I when we have conversations, I guess you just got to go with it, right, Matt?
You need a 3-hour podcast every once in a while.
Every now and then it's fun, and it's great to catch up with Jen and Cody, because working together with some of the veteran nonprofits, because of the podcast and because of the VFW, I've had a chance to get in touch with. It's brought us a whole network of people that's just amazing. And let's see, who are we going to meet next week? Future guest AJ Merrifield. I think this is going to also be, a storytelling. We'll probably get off on some tangents. I definitely hope that Al's here, because this guy's the biggest storyteller in the Army. He's done a lot of things. Division Soldier of the Year, 716th MP Battalion, wrote Bob on the 5 comics, has done some great things after the service, and it is officially going to be the roast of CIA Bob Mayer. So he's got a lot of stories about how he used to torment Bob back in the day when 101st got on, and then 561st MP came to fruition. So it will be the roast of
That's funny.
But anyway, Matt, take us out of here, man.
Well, like we said, it's another Thursday. We're glad that you're here. And if you're not here today, we're glad that you're listening whenever you have the time. Great story from a great veteran and someone that's just trying to make a difference in the community after service. It was a pleasure talking to Jen and Cody. If you are coming to the Denny Deets, go get your ass signed up tomorrow. We're going to come and try to compete. And if we win, then y'all need to go recheck y'all's lives in this barbecue game. That's all I'm saying. But it's going to be a great time. It's for a great cause, and we can't wait to do it. Al, I hope all your events went well. Can't wait to see you again next week. And again, everybody, if you haven't talked to someone or you feel like you need to reach out to someone, call them, say hi, check on your buddies. That's the best way to know that they're having a great day, because you're in it. So with that, we'll see you all next week.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.